What's up?
What's up, guys? This is the Devil Drives Lada podcast. This is episode 4, and today we're joined by a couple of the same guys, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to train Ukrainian soldiers. So last week we talked about Jamie, my first week in Ukraine. The week before we talked about my travels over there, and this week we're going to get into what it's like to train Ukrainian territory defense. And what all is involved in that, how we went about doing that, and just, a recap on that. After that, we're going to go into a couple current events. We got some Hawaii wildfire news, and just kind of catch you guys up on that. I know we weren't here last week, so we're going to talk some about that. We're going to talk about our great friend, Mike Dunn, who is, he glows. That guy glows, dog. And then, a very sad internet famous puppy dying. Rip Pupper. So, once again, I'm Jamie.
F's in the chat.
Yeah. Capital F's in chat. So, once again, I'm Jamie. I own Ohana Arms. I spent 8 months in Ukraine. Roughly 6 of those were in a combat role. I, teach civilian instruction. Just an overall gun enthusiast, nerd, tactical, whatever. Yeah, who wants to go next? Quick intros.
Not me.
Go. I love how you said not me. Go! You volunteered yourself!
Fine. All right, so I'm Zach. I don't remember what my introduction was last time, but basically I'm the token autist of a group. And I really like firearms. I'm working on being a firearms instructor. I've known Jamie for a couple of years now. I don't remember exactly how many. I've known...
A while.
I know one of our other guys that's in here, because I can't remember if he wants the name said or not. But I've known him for probably, I want to say, 8 years now, maybe? Maybe? But other than that, I pretty much do gun stuff, and I play a lot of games. That's about it. Who wants to go next?
Fuck.
I'm gonna write an order for every week and just start calling names out because we always argue.
Yeah,
over
that's probably
guns.
needed at this point.
Use or something? That'd be cool. What's up? I am Sean. I've known Jamie for... Bro, how long have I known you?
9 years, 8 years, a while.
We've been close since 2020.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, COVID and the feds.
And I've known Zach, and it's longer than I've known Jamie. We actually used to live together, and then our house burned down. R.I.P. the traffic.
Oh, Rip and Linguini. That's why I moved to Tennessee.
And then he moved to Tennessee because our house burned down.
Yeah, because being homeless with my best friend wasn't as good as just leaving him for dead when I moved.
Yeah, very few people could say they experienced a brief bout of homelessness with their best friend. So
Bonding.
It was a couple hours, so it was good.
You got the whole experience.
Are we calling you just operator waiter?
No, it's I've been doxxed on this podcast already. It's fine.
Thanks, Zach, for that one.
I've been close to Jamie since 2020. I am in the National Guard. I've been in, it'll be 7 years in October. And in my time, I deployed in support of Operation Inherent Resolve in 2019. Went to Kuwait and then to Syria. Did a few months in Syria. And yeah, I'm a combat engineer, so route clearance is my thing. And yeah. I also like guns and
stuffs.
Guns and goth girls.
He's also
Guns,
a Liberty
guts,
connoisseur.
and anarchy, maybe.
I have heard you like those 3 things before.
In that
gun?
series. What? In that exact order.
Are they in order of importance? Is that
Big titty goth girls or guns? I don't know. That's a tough
He
one.
needs guns in order to get the goths, and with the goths, they can achieve the anarchy.
What? I don't understand. I'm
an
not gonna.
anarcho-goth state?
We need it. My God-given right.
I'm also a retro kit enthusiast and a Eastern Bloc enthusiast.
Do we get to
To
see
some-
any? Do we get to see
Not-
any of that?
Political stake in it. I just like the.
Not.
I just like the militaria of it. So.
Do we get to see an example of said militaria?
Well, yeah, right here beside me. A 74 with a good old Bakelite mag in it that I purchased from Jamie.
Yeah, which we can't talk about where that came from. Definitely not a country we're talking about in this podcast. All right.
Look, ITAR. All my homies hate ITAR.
Hey, ITAR only counts for exportation.
You can export these nuts.
Yeah.
What's some other retro shit? I know I have some retro shit in arm's length. Give me a couple seconds.
The latest.
I have
Did
this
you just
very.
take a rip out of a bottle of bourbon?
Amaretto whiskey.
Oh fuck! Hold on. I have some very. I have a very poorly painted M16A4 clone
Drip.
that I definitely need to read. I did a shitty paint. That one, but
Wu-Tang Clan. I learn English.
I learned English from this band, Wu-Tang Clan.
All right, boy, you're up. Masked man.
What's up?
I am the
Ian.
masked man.
Yeah, I'm the mask guy. Not not trying to show my face yet. But I run operator supply. We do some uniform mods and small gear stuff like that. I'm just a flat range LARPer guy and a cringy airsoft nerd. So
He's had 3 tours in his mom's basement. Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Source.
He's
I
had
made
3
it up.
tours in your mom's basement.
Source. My source is I made it the fuck up. Oh, Senator Armstrong, such a grand character.
You can't trust the mainstream media. Source.
Are we gonna get some kind of like admin results demasking when you decide to take the mask off?
Yeah, once I make enough money to not work for my corporate overlords anymore, I will happily
fair, dude.
demask.
All right, guys. So
I
go
just
buy
happen
his
to
raid mod
work for a
shirts,
federal
his
contract
super
work,
cool
so-
patches.
I'm
If you
a
want to
bo-
see him unmasked. Not all those are his patches, though. His is right.
Buy his supply chain from him,
There, oh wait, there we go. It's that
and
one.
then he can retire and make even
Oh,
more
yeah.
raid mods.
Yeah, we're also we're the island's only supplier of flashbang grenades and smoke grenades and other tactical pyrotechnics and that kind of thing. So
And just to clarify,
If you
that's
do
not the
happen to
start of the
be-
wildfires.
no. I'm on a completely different island. If you happen to be out here, we can get you what you need.
He's the island version of admin results.
He's an island boy.
Results, but island boy.
Yeah, and we do have since
just-
he is an island guy, we are going to talk about some Hawaii wildfires from a Hawaiian. Well, not Hawaiian. Someone who lives in Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm not Hawaiian.
Yep, corrected.
He's just really into that cultural appropriation of Hawaiianers.
He do be a honky.
He do be
As evidenced by the forehead and
the thick 2x4 white forehead. All right, so today, like I said, we're talking about what it's like to train Ukrainian territory defense. So for those that don't know, territory defense would be Ukraine's equivalent to like the U.S. National Guard, just with less training. a lot less training. So typically how it works, this is not the end-all be-all. There are exceptions to this. But territory defense, Ukraine is divided up into oblasts. So you have like Kyiv, Kharkiv, etc. Different oblasts, which you could kind of consider like U.S. states, maybe. But realistically, it would probably be more like counties. What? What?
I thought oblast was like more similar to like counties.
Yeah.
I mean,
there is no technical
like
state
Canadian
level.
territories, maybe.
Yeah, like there are they don't each have their own laws. Like you might have the Kharkiv police, or they don't have, it's not like a state. You can't compare it directly to the U.S. But yeah, it would probably be best similar to just like you have the country of Ukraine, you have the counties, and then the cities. Counties in this case to be oblasts. So and Ukraine, I forget the square footage, but it's roughly the same on, probably 4, 5, 6 U.S. states on average, somewhere in there. So it's not a huge country, but it's also not, and it's not tiny either. There's a lot of territory. So territory defense, you can technically be called up, from my understanding, from being a civilian to join territory defense, similar to a draft, especially at the beginning of the war. However, it is most common for you to volunteer. So, it would look something like, well, at least at the start of the war, and things change and have changed a lot since the start of the war. And I'm sure things are very fluid. So I don't have the best understanding, but essentially how it would work is like, oh no, my country's being invaded. I'm going to go and volunteer to fight for my local oblast. And that's not to say that they can't get deployed out of it. Very similar to National Guard. You can get, mobilized and go on a deployment. But their primary objective, their primary goal is to defend that oblast. So as we talked about last week, I traveled to Ukraine. I stopped in Poland for supplies. Well, I guess that was 2 weeks ago. We talked about that 3 weeks ago because we didn't have
to drop off the walk.
Yeah, the walk to Poland. Then I went, I crossed the border, came into Lviv, went to Kyiv, and then we talked about my first week. We had our guest speaker Elon, who is one of the guys I was with. Him and I were there. We talked about our first week, and now we're picking up where we left off. We left off specifically talking about how we met our new team in a hipster bar there that was full of army dudes, foreign army dudes. So yeah, we met our new team there, and from there we it was basically like, hey, what are y'all's experiences? What are y'all doing? And they said, hey, so essentially we went through a roadblock the other day. They were at the time doing humanitarian work, and which of that nature, they had the password for that evening to get through checkpoints and roadblocks. Well, when they gave the Ukrainian soldiers, territory defense, the password, they said, hey, you guys are American. I said, yeah, we're here volunteering, we're doing humanitarian work, we're moving supplies, helping distribute stuff. And they said, well, do you guys know how to fight? And several of them being former US military of some sort said, yeah, I mean, we're we have prior service. None of them were well, actually that's not true. Only one of them in the team had some combat experience, but they said, yeah, and the Ukrainian guy said, can you please train us? We don't know how to fight. They were like, sure, what do you want to know? And they said, well, like, here's our commander's number, please contact him, and just say, that you'd be willing to train us. And, well, so they called the commander, and he said that would be great, and we proceeded to train, or we got connected, and we started training him. So the way territory defense works is I can volunteer. I think technically at the time you could be drafted. I don't know if that still stands. A majority of the people we train for volunteers, and so you get issued your uniform, you get issued your rifle, and you basically are told, okay, you're good to go now. We're gonna try and maybe cycle, depending on how the fighting's going and the location, we might try to cycle you through training courses or send an instructor for a week or a weekend down to teach you the basics. Other than that, here's some ammo to go to the range with, and have fun. Good luck. Here's the area in this
Good luck.
oblast that you're in charge of. Here's your HQ. Figure it out. That's more or less what it boils down to. And just to send that point home, we'll get into, like how I showed up and, so things like that. But just to send that point home, I and the team ended up training, territory defense volunteers ranging from late teenage girls or, like older teenage girls to, a handful, just quite literally a couple men and women in their 60s or older. Like old. I'll just use an example, and, by no means am I, trying to, question, their will to fight or character or anything like that, but, their physical prowess was, one of the older women had trouble charging her AK. Like compressing the recoil spring, like bringing it back. So that just kind of puts into perspective the wide range of volunteers that we were working with that were at that point Ukrainian military through TDF and were tasked with defending an area. So yeah.
Wow.
Let me read over our notes here. Anybody have any questions, comments while I'm catching up?
No.
No.
No. You did not let
Um,
me pledge.
So I guess before I kind of go into what it looked like training them and what we trained them on, like I said, just because they are not physically fit, and I do bear in mind, some of these guys and girls were like fit, like that they exercise daily, they work out, they come from all different backgrounds. Some of them even had prior combat experience, like a significant amount of combat experience from the 2014 invasion or earlier in some cases. But like these were all people that
Like
wanted to
the
be there.
early 90s earlier?
Yes. Yeah. There I know that for a fact that there was at least one elderly gentleman there that had seen prior combat decades ago.
Man was literally there for the fucking check,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
get to talk to much. He spoke no English. And I mean, my job necessarily wasn't to, interview everyone, but to do my best in a limited time to train and, well, yes, become friends, and I'm still friends with many of them to this day. But that wasn't necessarily my job to interview, and we need to and train. But yes, some of them had old combat experience. But one of the things I wanted to comment on is like these people wanted to be there. This isn't like the Vietnam draft where some people, didn't want to go, didn't know what they were fighting for. Like to them, this is their homes. At the time, I know we talked about 2 weeks ago or our last episode. When I arrived in Ukraine, the front lines were less than 7 kilometers from where I was in Kyiv. And they had already, and the Russians were in the Kyiv Oblast. They'd captured Bucha. There was heavy fighting in Bucha. They'd captured a large portion of it. I mean, there was quite literally fighting in the streets of Kyiv. Like apartment buildings getting blown up, things like that. So, quite literally, these people are volunteering to save their children, their homes, their families, and everything they had. So it's not like these people were forced to be there. They wanted to be there, and physically fit or training or not, they were willing to die for their homes, families, and, everything they had. And that's something you'll see, as a reoccurring, did we lose Ian, or is he just really still? Oh my goodness!
Oh,
That's a reoccurring thing you'll see throughout, my stories and kind of how we go about talking about Ukraine is these people wanted to be there and they were willing to die for their ideas and their land and homes. And that's just a very noble thing. We'll go into more in depth, like the psychology of what it's what it's like being in combat, being in a firefight, especially for the first time. And you'll see kind of a reoccurring theme of the people that don't make it through a gunfight in the sense of mentally, and the ones that do. And it's always it's usually a theme of like why you're there, and we'll go into that in later episodes when we get into more combat roles that I was in. But ultimately, these people wanted to be there, and they were willing to die for it. Sorry, I'm outrunning my notes.
Good, you're good. Keep running them notes, boy.
So we had this individual could actually watch, or is very likely to watch this podcast. So here's a quick shout out. There was a female that we were training. She was early mid 30s, or probably early 30s, and super like sweet. She just, you could tell like while training she really knew her way around weapons, and like it didn't seem to necessarily have the greatest grasp on like the correct training, and that's because as we later came out, she had a significant amount of combat experience. She in 24, say again.
Nothing. I don't know.
So in 2014, and we found this out probably a week or two after training. One of the guys is like, do you know why she's so good? And we're like, don't have a clue, dude. So one of y'all taught her something or whatever, and they're like, no. She fought in Donbass in 2014 when the Russians invaded.
Oh my God.
She told her family she was going on to a vacation in Kyiv, and basically got to the other side of the country and stacked bodies. They were like, she was a female sniper.
Chad.
And so they were like, she was so good at her job. I forget her nickname, but it was basically like, the female version of the White Death kind of thing. They were like, she was so effective at her job. She had an SVD with like a scope and like just stacked bodies. Hearing like third-party war stories of this girl from like confirmed by multiple parties.
Jamie, you are a NPC in this character's world.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I felt so
the main character.
Like that's just kind of one of many. But yeah, like we start talking, and then they're like, dude, yeah, here we were able to find pictures on her. Like, she doesn't talk about it much, and at this point in her life, she has a kid and a long-term partner. And once again, she moved her kid to the western part of the country and was willing to die for it all over again. She literally settled down after stacking bodies in 2014, got a man and a kid, and now she's doing it all over again. But we were able to find some pictures of her, and literally there she is, like laying in a trench with an SVD in the middle of like super muddy, snowy Donbass, just stacking bodies.
I love that.
And there were several people that we've later found out that we had. I would even go so far as to say we had the honor of training at that point. Just absolute combat legends that you don't know. They're extremely humble, and you'll just be talking. You're like, how do you know how to do this? Or like your reloads, they're great. Or your sight picture, it's amazing. Like your stance, and it's like, oh, I've shot before, and then come to find out, they shot before. They shot before. So like, yeah, it was just really cool. It was honestly quite an honor. And I felt very out of place. Like, here I am, having taught civilian. A near civilian. I like my background. I went to a military college for a little while. I received very basic, this is your rifle. Here's a land nav course. We'll take you to the range, and then I did some marksmanship stuff. I shot competitively, and then I taught some civilian classes and was relatively self-taught. I just know the right people and have spent time with them and was able to learn. And here I am teaching combat vets that, are absolute chads with a significant portion of combat experience how to shoot and how to maneuver and just basic infantry tactics. It was extremely humbling, especially considering how humble they were in the sense of like some of them would even tell you, especially after kind of confront, be like, you didn't tell me you had experience, or whatever. They're like, well, does that change anything? And you're like, well, I mean, yeah, you know how to do your job, and like just because we've done it doesn't necessarily mean like we have professional training, and that sums it up a lot. I don't think there's necessarily a substitute for good training. While combat experience can like do that. What you'll see on a lot of the videos and stuff coming out of Ukraine from both sides, Ukraine and Russia, you'll see combat experience and guys like combat hardened guys that are making what a lot of us would consider like simple basic infantry tactic mistakes, but they're out there doing it and they're not scared and things like that. However, it's just like that doesn't make you as effective as you could be.
I agree.
And we'll get, like I said, and we'll get into this a little bit more in later episodes. Like, I did fight with volunteers from all over the world, including Ukraine, that had zero combat experience and zero training, and were just chads. Like, you turned in some of the best gunfighters and fearless men I know. And then on the other hand, I fought with guys also with X amount of tours to Afghanistan, Iraq, fill in the blank, that the first shelling, they broke down and had to go home. It affects different people differently, and a lot of it, and I'm not, questioning necessarily everyone's choices or why they want to be there. We can talk about a little bit, one of our current events, we can question someone's ethics and why they went to Ukraine a little bit later. But I won't question everyone's. It's a heart thing, and I don't think I'm here to judge on that for everyone or for most people, and for that matter. But a lot of people, I feel like, volunteered and went for the glory, for the adrenaline rush, and those were typically what I would find would be the people that just realized it wasn't worth dying for. Say again.
I said that they found out that they were pretty cringe.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that was a brief tangent, but I do feel like it was kind of relevant to explaining, TDF in general, and your will to fight comes from your heart and why you're there. And these were volunteers willing to die for them. One of the some questions I would get, and we're doing our best. I by no means would call myself a expert as far as like weapon handling or maneuvering, CQB. Really, I would consider myself an expert at none. Just because I've shot, marksmanship courses and things like that, and even competitively doesn't make me an expert marksman. Just because I've done, ran CQB courses and have some CQB combat experience does not make me a CQB expert. Like, there's always someone better, and I think that's part of like the learning process, is knowing that there's always someone better than you at a certain thing. But I was doing my best to teach and instruct people on like basic infantry tactics, how to bound, how the three positions, prone, how much so the three positions, the front leaning rest position, but like prone, standing, kneeling, what those positions look like, and then teaching them the fundamentals of, why. And that's something I try to teach in my classes, and I encourage people who take shooting and tactical or combat classes, is ask why, because you only have a set amount of time with that instructor or with the instruction, and learning the fundamentals is far more important than an instructor telling you to do something and not explaining why, because then you run into the issue of just like, when they leave, you might be teaching your peers, or you might, someone might ask you, why do you do that? And you just say, well, it was taught to me, and you have no idea the fundamentals of why. So I think it's very important that when you're taught something, you need to be asking why, because a lot of instructors and teachers don't understand that concept and may not even know themselves why. It's just the way they were taught in the 90s, in an Iraq deployment, or by their local SWAT class or their NRA class. Like, ask why and make sure that, it makes fundamental sense. And I really wanted to stress that to, and I'm speaking for my team also. I don't want to make it look like I was the only one training. I had 5 other guys with me who came from all different backgrounds, from CQB, also to long range. Our guest speaker last episode, Elon, was a part of that training team, and he specifically was trying to help teach them some long range disciplines, and everything from trigger discipline to, a proper sight picture, things like that. So everyone had their own little wheelhouse, but we really wanted to work hard on teaching them why, because we wanted to take the 100 people we taught, and when they get broken into other units, or people that weren't able to make it to training, or people that get integrated into their unit, we wanted them to be able to teach them. Like, we wanted to make 100 instructors if possible. And we wanted to teach them the fundamentals and the, like, body mechanics of shooting in combat. And some of the questions we would get where, we'd be teaching how to clear a room or a hallway. And, hold on, let me grab a weapon real quick. I'll show you guys.
Not the visual aid.
Tarkov
yeah,
lean.
also not those visual aids. So we're just gonna play it safe here. So, what we'd find is, we would have them, we'd set up like a mock room or a mock hallway, and we're like, okay, no, and this was the first week or two of training. We really just we were under the impression we'd only have 2 weeks with them, and we were basically spending like a day or two on every just everything, going from one thing to another. We start off, with the stances and how to hold a rifle, and we wanted to basically do a 2-week course of how to fight. And so we set up like a mock building. We were actually training in at this point in the war, an abandoned schoolyard. So it was like their recess playground and like the courtyard. And so we intentionally set up like a chain link fence around like a tennis ball court, so like they could see through the wall, so they could also like, take in that extra information. And we wanted to, show it from both ways so they could see through it. And, we're teaching them how to pull around a corner and push through. You never want to sit in like a fatal funnel or sit on a corner or continue to peek an angle. Like, you always want to be pushing through. And, we had one guy, and he was like, I don't understand. And he spoke good English. He was a younger guy. He was like, why would I push? He was like, why would I go around the corner? He's like, when I could safely sit behind the corner like this and just continue to, like, look around every second and figure out if there's anyone there. And we were like, my guy, it's not the Tarkov wiggle. That's not okay. You can't peek the same angle at the same elevation.
Was it? I think cause and effect solutions, I think, is the name of it.
Yes.
Cause, whoever the guy that runs it, posts a lot of stuff from like videos from the shoot house, and they'll have a class where people are like, where like he does Op.4 generally, and we're like, just to do like the Tarkov lean, and then he just like fucking gets him right in the face.
Yeah,
every time.
It's there's a time and a place for everything. I'm not gonna say you should never ever lean around a corner. But especially instances where you don't. This is not the time for that, and it rarely is. Especially, I would say it is never a time for just continuing to pop it. Look, peeking once, with your muzzle down range, maybe in some situations. Going just, I don't think that was anyone. Hold on, I need to look at. Maybe. Oh, it is someone. You're screwed, dude. You're already dead.
Yeah, you've been shot 6 times already.
And that's what we tried to convey to them. And finally he was, and we were basically, because to him, and he was younger, I mean, he's late teens, early 20s. And he had video game experience. That was literally his only time he'd really held more than, just a sporting rifle, like a hunting rifle. And we were like, you're putting yourself more in danger, despite you being behind cover half the time. You're putting yourself more in danger continuing to peek than if you would just, with your team, coercively push through.
Yep. And that's like the dynamic of like suppressive fire while like an element either breaks off or like you continue to gain ground but as an element. So that way like you're kind of crushing that enemy resistance. And eventually they either need to pull back or they're going to get pinned in where they're at and they still get slaughtered.
Yeah. And that just goes back to they didn't have training. And because in his head, it made logical sense. If I'm behind cover half the time, that means I can't get shot 50% of the time. And I mean that makes sense until you put into context
like HMGs and everything else that are like, fuck your cover, dude.
Like there's no telling. I mean, and this is applicable to a CQB indoor course or exterior. Peeking from the same angle multiple times is never acceptable. And that's something I know we talked about in the first episode, which will now be a meme release eventually. Like Kala Systems. They have that one training video of it's like two women like peeking a window and like punching in through the window, like muzzle past barrier. What is the technical term for that?
No, they put their hands with their weapon into the threat area.
Yeah, which is over penetration.
They break the threshold by a long way.
Threshold, yeah. And like continue to do that, and they're like, reload.
Yeah, that was the part that got me. They yell like, reload every time they're
like it's
my favorite piece. Really, it's like magazine.
And it's just it's. I mean, that was a bit of a tangent about the Colossus, but like people think, even trained individuals think that's acceptable. So I can understand from a non-trained standpoint where your experience is just video games, like that might make sense to you, but that's the kind of or watching John Wick, yeah. But that's just not true, and that's some of the stuff we had to convey to them. Another quick note. We had another one of the elderly women, the same one who actually struggled to rack or charge her AK. So we would do dry fire like movement drills. We specifically were trying to like once again we were trying to be as condensed as possible. We didn't know how long we had with this unit before we deployed, before they deployed. To Bucha, that is deployed to Bucha. So we were trying to do like dry fire drills while they were bounding and like working on positions and things like that. So we would have them so it was like and we're trying to teach them not the US Army or US military way, but also trying to get like the whole reason you're taught in like basic or whatever, the cover me while I move, I got you covered, is so you can have like that verbal, like I guess you could call it like a two-way handshake of, yes, I'm confirming you can move. Which you don't, I mean, in realistic combat, you don't necessarily have that conversation, but you also are doing your best to pay attention that your buddy is firing and engaging the enemy. Like it's still, and that comes with flow state practice training, working together as a team, etc. Yep. But they would bound up and covering, and they would do dry fires. So it would just be click, and then they'd bang, rack their weapon and click, and yell bang bang in the process. And bang, bang. We were paying attention, and this lady just seemed confused. I don't know how to say this politely, but it was just she was acting differently how she was treating her weapon. And so I don't remember exactly how it came up, but I had one of the translators asked just kind of like, hey, how can you show me how to operate your weapon? We're going through also showing them how to reload, how to chamber around, how to pop the top off, how to properly clean an AK, just like a field strip, things like that. And we realized through talking with her, she didn't realize the AK platform was semi-automatic. She had never held a weapon in her life. She was, 60 years old and had never shot before. And she was under the impression that every time you pulled the trigger and the gun went bang, you had to recharge it.
Mm.
And we're like, no.
Half her ammo out on the ground.
Yeah. And we're like, no, it cycles itself. And they're explaining it to her in Ukrainian. And she's just like you can see the light bulb going off. And she's like, oh. And we're like, yeah, like that's unnecessary. The reason we're racking it in training or charging it in training is just so you can cycle the weapon, to get the trigger to reset, which we had explained previously in, class, the session she was in. And everyone understood that, but it was just somehow she just still believed that when you're firing, like even live ammo, you still have to charge the weapon. And that was no fault of her own. She didn't know. She'd never held a gun. She'd never shot. And I mean, we take that for granted because, we've played video games and, we've shot. I mean, we have live fire courses, or we used to quite traditionally all, us together.
some of us grow up, or around guns.
Yeah, welcome to America.
So like I had a basic understanding of
Mhm.
firearms.
Yeah, I mean, my dad taught me how to shoot. I started going hunting when I was, a toddler, literally. By the time I remember carrying my toy rifle into the woods with me, and hunting. Like my dad carrying me half the way to the hunting blind, and I couldn't even climb the ladder because I couldn't reach the freaking rungs.
Yeah,
And then I remember finally being allowed to take my Mini 30 that my dad gave me, and it was too heavy for me to carry. So he would carry me and my rifle to the hunting blind, and he'd set it up on a bipod, and I knew gun safety at that age. I knew exactly what happened when I pulled the trigger. I mean, I couldn't have been 4. 4 or 5 when I was actually, like, shooting real guns at animals. Like, that sounds terrible, but, I mean...
Oh, I slaughtered fucking groups of Bambis.
Yeah, but I mean, I understood that, but
back.
I think a lot of us take that for granted. That a lot of us were raised that way or played video games, and I don't mean to take away anything from Ukrainian women, but an elderly Ukrainian woman probably never had any of those experiences.
Yeah.
And that's what we were there to teach. Like that woman would have downright died for her, her home, her grandkids, her land, whatever. She just needed to be given the tools and the training to do so. Oh, that sounded bad. She needed to be given the tools and training to survive through the ordeal and to be able to properly defend her home, her family, and everything else.
Her homestead.
Thank you. So yeah, that's just. I mean, we would get questions like that constantly. It's like, well, another common issue is like, this goes back to like Ukrainian like old school, like when you're taught to shoot, they thought bone on bone was the best, like in a kneeling position. And I mean, you can see where this gets you.
Until recently, the Army was teaching that too.
Yes, but
the U.S. Army was teaching that.
But there's also still to this day Ukrainian like former special forces that will go around teaching like territory defense units. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, those might seem very subtle or not a big thing, but when you get questions, it's like I'm there to teach. I'm there to answer questions. And we wanted to teach the fundamentals of why you want to do that.
Yep.
Oh, and I guess I never actually talked about the training size, the unit size. It was roughly 100 people. It was 3 platoon, 3 company. It was about 110 person company, and I believe, if I remember correctly, there were 3 platoons that we would kind of rotate through. I guess that would have been important information 20 minutes ago. So like I said, we were training. At one of the locations, at one of the platoons, which ended up being one of our more favorites, the ones that we made the most, friends with, had the most in common with. It was a schoolyard, an abandoned school. Another location we trained another platoon at was just like a industrial park. It was like a military loading dock area, just like a very, very small military base. Especially wartime, what you'd find in Ukraine is like abandoned buildings or not abandoned. In some cases, businesses would say, "Hey, we have a fenced-in area, with a guard post out front. Y'all are welcome to use it. We're closed. Our business isn't open due to the war. Please, you guys live, eat everything out of that building." Well, they would. The main HQ for the company, I am fully, I one thing I want to do with this podcast is, one thing I want to do with this podcast is, while I did fight in Ukraine, I do still believe in Ukraine. I believe that it is, really the right side of the war to be on. Ukraine's not perfect and makes a significant amount of, mistakes or does wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Ukraine is perfect and sugarcoat things. Like, that's not the case. I was there and I want to share my experiences and what I saw, whether they're, good or bad for either side. And one of the things that really bothered me through this whole ordeal is the company HQ is under an apartment building, like civilian apartment building. It was like it was basically, you know, many of the apartment complexes have. I mean, you can see this if you play Tarkov, or especially Tarkov, or like DayZ, Stalker. A lot of those buildings have like essentially bunkers underneath them, for storage or for like fallout or bomb shelters, whatever. And many times company HQs, or, you know, unit HQs would just say, hey, my commander lives in this apartment complex, or, you know, I have, you know, connections with the owner of this building or whatever, and they're letting us move in. And while, you know, civilians are staying in the apartments above, there's a military HQ literally in the basement. And that was something that always kind of bothered me, because you're unintentionally putting civilians, or potentially putting civilians, in that line of fire.
Yep.
You know, Ukraine, you know, in the media, or, you know, whatever, it'd say, hey, you know, Russia hit this apartment. And I don't ever know for a fact that this happened. I have no way of knowing that. And the ones that, you know, I have information on, this was not the case. But, you know, the media might say, hey, Russia destroyed the civilian apartment building. You know, there were civilians inside, you know, 3 casualties. What they didn't tell you, or maybe what they didn't know, is there very well could have been, you know, a unit HQ right below that Russia was targeting. There's no way to really know that, and that always kind of really bothered me. And like I said, with the missile strikes and stuff that I do have information on, or was there for, that was not the case. But it just bothered me that the Ukraine military, the government, etc., was even doing that to begin with. I understand you're doing it to blend in, but by blending in, you're also risking civilian lives that are caught in the crossfire. So yeah, there's a little hot take. That's what I saw. That's what bothered me. And I mean, while is it necessarily quartering? No, they're not in your home. You know, you're not. The unit HQ is not in someone's apartment building, and I mean, that's U.S. law. There's not laws like that in many other countries. But it's like, is it
I mean, forced
is it
conscription is legal still everywhere else, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, did it necessarily break any laws, or was it illegal? No, not necessarily. But it just isn't a good, like, that. I wouldn't call that like the moral high ground.
It's not a good look, yeah.
It's not a good look. So yeah, there's a quick little hot take for you. Neither side's perfect. And
Such is life.
yeah. I get kind of flack from both sides. I still to this day get asked, like, well, why aren't you still over there fighting? You know, and realistically, I have many reasons. But it's just, you know, I chose to come back, and I still get asked, you know, well, do you think Ukraine's the, you know, do you think Ukraine's the best? Or I'll say something, you know, talking about how there are, in fact, now don't clip this out of proportion or whatever, but yes, there are in fact Nazis in Ukraine. Shocker, there's still Nazis all over the world. And I've caught flack from Ukrainians before that say, no, there aren't. Ukraine has no Nazis. Well, then you're either living in a bubble or you're lying to yourself, because that's not the case at all. There's Nazis in Ukraine. There's Nazis in the US. There's Nazis in Russia. Like, the world is still full of some form of, like, Nazism beliefs.
Yeah, the fact that people really think that just because they're, like, you know, is Nazis or isn't Nazis, and then act like we don't have, clearly, like, there's still communists, like Stalinist communists among, you know, people who really either Stalinist or they're Leninist. And, like, to this day, those people are still en masse around us. What's to say, like, there's not Nazis, especially within, like, a prison system where, like, it's very similar, where if you're not picking a side. Yeah, but you also have to, like, when people are in there, they say, like, you have to pick a side. And most of the time, it ends up being, like, obviously the Nazis are predominantly white because it's kind of what the ideology teaches, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's, like, an exception, like, oh, yeah, well, this Mexican guy thinks he's white, so we've introduced him. I don't know if there's, you know, that, like, 1% or not. But, you know, when we get with these ideologies that, you know, how do I put it? They're predominantly in institutions that are violent like that, I mean, it's no surprise that they exist. And then these people then come out, and especially with like Russia's Wagner group, that in order to sufficiently give an amount of numbers for the war effort, they went to the prison system. Like, hey, these people have some combat experience. Some of them saw, combat in like the Czech and, other areas that, were the satellite states of Russia. Let's have them fight for Wagner and such. So, it's not uncommon to see Nazis within, especially the Slavic groups, where it's in the prisons. It's a lot here in America too. There's plenty of Nazis in the American prison system.
Yeah,
I mean, we had Nazis in NASA. Like, come on, guys.
It's true. And like, I mean, and I catch a lot of flack for that, but I just, like, once again, that's kind of one of those things where, like, I do want to disclose. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like lick the Ukrainian boot of statism. Like, I mean, I didn't go and fight for the Ukraine government. I didn't go and fight for the Nazis in Ukraine. That's completely irrelevant to why I went. I mean, yeah, I definitely saw a handful of 1488 tattoos. Guess where I've also seen some 1488 tattoos? My local gun range here in South Carolina. Like, it's a sad, like, just, it's life. Like, you're gonna find people that have very stark beliefs, like very stark contrasting beliefs that from yours and what we feel are moral. And that's just like, that's their right. And whether or not we disagree with it, or agree or disagree with it, that's a fact of life, that people are going to have other beliefs than you. But what you don't want to focus on is saying, try to sugarcoat something, and, there's, track a Nazi Mert Telegram channels, and it's just all the Ukrainians are Nazis, and then on the Ukrainian side, it's, all the Russians are evil and Nazis, and, kill all the Russian pigs, or, the orcs, whatever, and it's not a black and white war. No war really is. And while, once again, I fought for Ukraine, and I don't regret that. I would have done it all over again, even with my, current knowledge, but it's not that all Ukrainians are some, angel that, saint. So yeah. War crimes have been committed on both sides and will continue to be. It's war. It's a sad reality of life.
I hate it when, like, it's not able to be, I don't know, I guess obviously considered, where you'll talk about like U.S. war crimes. People are like, "Oh, so you're clearly a fan of the Taliban." Like, no, I didn't say that, did I? Like, when does it ever become like a necessary, to tolerate evil just because it's on my team? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that smooth brain is fuck, dude. Like,
I had someone get in my face this is probably a couple months ago now. And they were like, I just hope that and it was when they, like, I don't broadcast this by any means. Like, I don't have some Ukrainian flag waving on my truck that says I've served in, a foreign military. On occasion, I'll have someone be kind of pushy. I'll, like, so, why were you out of the country for a year? Or, what, someone that kind of vaguely knows me, or, might not have me on social media, heard something, whatever. Or just somebody questioning why I do have a little Ukrainian flag on my truck, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I spent some time in Ukraine, and they're like, oh, when, what did you do? Tell me more. And I've just had, or even some of my actual, what I would call friends. Commies. Yeah. I've even had
meme, dude.
Somebody message me on Facebook that was, actually a Facebook friend that I kept my Facebook updated while I was gone, with, what I was doing. And, like, just so you know, you fought for a corrupt government full of Nazis. I was like, what are you talking about?
With the
they were like, can be said about, people serving in other militaries.
Yeah. And they straight up told me, they were like, that's Joe Biden. That you were supporting Joe Biden's corrupt military, like, regime of money and scandals. And I was like, first of all, I didn't, go over there for, Joe Biden or, anything like that. I originally went over there as a volunteer, A. B, I was never fighting for the Ukrainian government. Like, hot take, screw the Ukrainian government. It's true. Like, it's no more corrupt or less corrupt than the U.S. government. Like, the U.S. government just has the most, one of the biggest GDPs in the world and can hide it so much better than the Ukrainian government
Where do you
can.
think they learned to government?
Oh, I don't know. Like, just because Ukrainians' corruption has come to light doesn't mean that it's any worse than the U.S. corruption. It goes on daily.
Wait, no. Are you implying possibly that the U.S. is toppling governments and putting new governments in place that would serve an hour?
Oh, no. I would never.
I would
suggest
never
such a
imply
thing.
such a
Wow,
thing.
Yeah.
that's such a bold
I
accusation.
am just saying
that
though.
has never happened.
Yeah, dude, it's
Ever.
never happened. I wouldn't believe that such a perfect government as the U.S. of A, who only cares about, liberty and justice for all, would do such a
I
thing.
mean, yeah, man, I love our reptilian overlords, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
United Fruit would like a word.
So yeah, that's just, and that wasn't necessarily part of the main topic, but I did want to just go on and explain some of that. Yeah, that all that really just stemmed from there's HQs and apartment complexes, So, coming up to the last bullet point in my notes. Let's see, we're at 56 minutes. I'll spend a few minutes going over the last bullet point and then go over a quick few smaller just things I'm thinking of as far as our main topic. So during our training, oh, I forgot, I have pictures for a lot of this. We'll get to that in a second. So during the training, the unit we were supposed to deploy to, I don't understand, some of this was language barrier stuff, but it was somehow connected or attached or supposed to be working with a Ukrainian Alpha Group team. For those that don't know, Alpha Group is Ukrainians' Special Forces Operations.
Yeah, JSOC essentially.
Yeah. There's also different departments of Alpha Group. Like, it's more complex, but just for the point of this, Alpha Team is Ukrainian Special Forces. And so the unit we were training was kind of somewhat closely working with, attached in some capacity to a Alpha Group team. And that Alpha Group team was on standby to go clear Bucha.
Really?
This was right when Bucha was falling. I hate kombucha, dude. Stuff's gross.
I know I do too. It's awful.
So
Bucha's great. Bucha's really good.
Yeah, Bucha's yeah. So this was right when Russia was essentially retreating from Bucha, which Bucha is a technically I think you could call an outskirt or like a suburb of Kyiv. It's in Kyiv Oblast, but it's not in the city. I would really describe it as a suburb or a kind of on the outskirts of Kyiv. And this is as the Russians were retreating. This Alpha Group team is tasked with essentially being tip of the spear to make sure, not necessarily to demine or to like clear mines or booby traps, but essentially make sure that there aren't straggling, and I quote, like Spetsnaz hanging out, waiting to ambush, like Ukrainian units coming in. There is, there's a technical, like, strategic term for, like, a false retreat, where you leave, like, strategic ambush units in place to ambush the enemy when they come and take it.
I think that is the technical term.
It's the old.
There we go. The old bait and, yeah, all right, there we go. The old bait and switch.
I don't know what the bait and switch is. That might not be it. So
nope, that's it now. That's it now. For the rest of this episode, it'll be the old Bucha bait and switch.
The old bait and switch.
So, this Alpha Group team was tasked with, and I don't even necessarily know the size of the team at the time. It could have been a company, a unit, a squad. That was kind of the need to know, and I didn't need to know at the time. But this team was tasked with essentially being the tip of the spear to make sure there were no, Spetsnaz set up to ambush. And due to them, our unit, our TDF unit somewhat in some capacity being attached to them. They were kind of grabbing some of the combat experienced TDF volunteers that we had already begun training to go with them because they needed some extra manpower. And, well, us being the instructors, they were like, hey, would you guys like to tag along? It's an option. It's not a requirement. You don't need to. But it would be kind of cool to have you guys. And we were like, yeah, 100%. This was prior to us having any signed contracts or any documents or anything. We were just, we had our commander's phone number, our unit paperwork as far as like what unit we were training, and so whenever we'd get stopped at checkpoints or whatever the case may be, we would just show them the paperwork and they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Or they'd call our commander and he'd sort of set it straight. So it was kind of this thing of like, you guys can definitely go. However, we can't issue you like a rifle. And we're like, oh. so we're like, why would we go? And they're like, well, I mean,
No.
it would be great to have you guys. I mean, you've been training, and at that point we'd fallen in love with our guys, that we were training, and they're like, so I mean, ultimately you would be at they're like, you'd be at the back. We work on getting you your some weapons, but we can't like legally issue a gun. We can maybe try to acquire some extra ones that we'll hand you, when we get there. Like, we'll acquire some mags and ammo for you guys, things like that. But legally, we can't give you a gun yet. And so we kind of talked amongst ourselves. We did end up agreeing to go. And so we were on a 24-hour, 48-hour, maybe less. I don't remember. It was a very, very short deployment notice. So I think it was even shorter than that. It could have been as little as 12 or 6 hours or something. And that was that. Like, we were like, okay, so when they agreed to do that, they moved us closer to the military base. I think last week I showed you guys some pictures of the apartment we were staying in. And we kind of used that as our still like home base for the team of, where we wanted to store valuable things, because we were the only ones that had access to that. But we picked up our like combat equipment from the apartment and we moved it closer to the base and actually lived on the base for a little while with soldiers. Well, turns out the call to go to Bucha never came. Traditional standard U.S. Army. Standard Ukrainian army units pushed in and found that, well, Russia had completely abandoned it. The original intel that thinking there were stragglers and Spetsnaz set up was completely false. And so they were basically like, hey, sorry, but we're not going to get to go. In that whole thing... Sorry, go ahead.
Reminds me of like during the initial invasion of Iraq, and I think it was 2003, that like there was like plenty of times that they were like, yeah, we've got this fucking entire Iraqi like tank column that's at this airport, and we're gonna hit that shit. And it's like you got recon Marines that their mean guy was like, hey, we're gonna take up the lead on this. And they're like, sir, we've got Humvees, topless Humvees. We're taking on an Iraqi column. Are you kidding me? And he's like, we'll do it quick enough. And they pretty much rushed that shit thinking it's gonna be a suicide mission that they've got to do, only to find out there was no tanks at all. It was a bunch of abandoned T-72s that had been there since like fucking like the 90s. And they're like, by sheer fucking like stupidness, we've lived yet again.
Yeah, that was this. I mean, similar situation. We didn't say it was a suicide mission at the time, and turns out it wouldn't have been anyway. But one thing we did, really the only thing that we were willing to like, or why we were willing to go, is because like at that point the soldiers, like we'd been living with the soldiers for, well, not living, we'd been living closely. I mean, every single day we're training with them. I mean, up to 6-8 hours a day some days. And so, like, built the camaraderie, and we really cared about them. Like, we wanted to see all of them make it out, and we wanted to be the ones, saying, hey, let's do it this way. I know, we're under fire or whatever, but remember, let's go. Let's remember what I taught, And it was just some awesome, like, camaraderie built very quickly of just, they understood that we genuinely wanted to train them and help them live, and they would have taken us anywhere, and, vice versa. Cool little memorabilia. one of the commander of the Alpha Group team we were going with, gave us guys a patch when we kind of agreed to go. And we got like his phone number and stuff, and like we were getting ready to go. He was like, be sure to have all your kits ready, everything that the unit we were training, the selected individuals were like immediately like, we were getting trying to get IFACs. We had a donation of IFACs come in. So they were the first ones to get IFACs because they were going to be the ones going with us. Yeah, that's another thing. These guys had zero medical training. Didn't know how to put on a tourniquet. Some of them had purchased tourniquets with their own money. None of which were like North American Cat. Just whatever they could find. Which kind of goes into another topic of like, do fake tourniquets work? Sometimes. Should you ever use one? No.
No.
Like, don't use cheap gear. Buy the real thing. It's not worth risking your life for. Like,
Could a fake Glock
Yeah, not
essentially
for
save my
medical
life?
stuff,
Yeah,
man.
probably. But do I deserve a fake Glock? No. You deserve the best equipment.
Like, if you literally have access to not a single other, life-saving piece of equipment other than a single, $4.99 tourniquet from, the Amazon resale store or, whatever. I mean, fair enough. But
if you have no choice, it's better than nothing, but Jesus. Please, please don't.
It was, like, honestly quite heartbreaking. We were, like, double-checking the gear. Like, we're doing, like, gear layouts and gear checks with the guys we were going to be going with, and women. I use guys. It's just kind of a gender fluid term. But, the guy, lay their stuff out, and it's like, hey, homie, where's your IFAC? They're like, my what? And you're like, your medical supplies. And they're like, oh. And they, like, pull out,
what is medical?
Yeah. And they'll literally be like, our medic has a tourniquet. Like, that was literally
the tourniquet.
We literally got that response. And we were like, what do you mean? And so they, like, call the medic over. And it's like, hey, come look. And they have, like, literally just a couple tourniquets in their IFAC. And that's for the entire, like, squad or larger level. Like, it was technically a platoon. They had, like, 2 platoon medics and, like, a platoon doctor. Or a company doctor. So it wasn't even a medic per squad. So you're looking at, like, I don't know. Technically, I guess if you did the math, it would be, like, 0.2 tourniquets per person. Versus, I think I carry 4. Yeah, I believe I carried 3 or 4 tourniquets on me. There were times I think I actually carried more, for just as extras, like in my bag, because I was just compensating for Ukrainians or other even volunteers not having enough. But yeah, like it was honestly heartbreaking. We immediately started trying to source IFACs. I think we did end up getting like 30 IFACs or something, 40 IFACs, which like I mean like an actual proper IFAC with proper hemostatic, proper tourniquets, etc. I wish I could remember who those were donated by, and I'd tell them thank you. Because those went to soldiers that are now actually fighting on the front lines. So yeah, we taught them how to put on tourniquets. We stressed to them the importance of speed, how to get it tight. Yes, we did use a training tourniquet. We sacrificed actually one of my training tourniquets for that. It was not. They're good.
Did not put it on inside out.
Yeah. So yeah, like we also taught them. I completely neglected to mention that earlier, but we did teach them basic TCCC. All right. So yeah, we didn't go to Bucha. Yeah. Some other just random notes I know we kind of touched on last week, or last episode, I should say. Being in essentially a dead city, the size of like Atlanta or maybe like Miami or Charlotte, probably bigger than Charlotte. Being in a city that's practically dead to civilian life is crazy. We'd be riding in the back of like a freaking Volkswagen like bus, like a little mini bus, doing 90, 100 kilometers plus through the city. Like they'd have like little magnetic like be-doo, like ambulance lights, or just like hold their window honk it, or like hold their hand out the window with an AK in their hand, or like AK sitting on the seat while they're like driving, doing this, like honking the horn or something through the intersection, because
Amazing.
there's no traffic. Like, you know, I mean, yeah, there were civilians driving, but I mean, it's basically all military personnel. So it's like whoever has the highest priority or whoever has the most people in the car gets the right of way. Yeah, it was insane. We'll touch on a little bit later. Probably 2 episodes from now or so. Actually, we'll probably do this next week. I responded to a missile attack. We were the first we were the designated first responders for that attack, and we commandeered a Toyota Yaris. There were, if I remember correctly, I have a picture, a video of it. 7 or 8 of us in a Toyota Yaris.
Yeah.
That's
Toyota
a 4-seat.
like sales go up.
Yeah, that's a 4-seater.
The old tactical clown car.
Like I have a video, or at least photos, of me hanging out the back hatch with people in the back seat holding onto like my collar so I don't fall out. And I hold my legs up because the bottom of like my my Ultimas, my boots are scraping the ground. So I'm like holding my legs up and we're trying not to fall out. It was crazy. We'll go into a little more detail about that.
Thick white boys in armor with ammo and shit. I bet that bitch was riding low.
Oh, dude, we scraped. Like, and it was a civilian too. He offered to drive us because we're literally running down the street trying to get to this missile attack. And he's like, no, he's like, and well, our Ukrainian, who was also our translator, kind of what he was standing next to his car. He's like, he's like, oh yeah, get in. And we're like trying to strategically figure out how we can fit in. And literally, it just took us like hanging out the windows and traffic. It was like Moses parting like the Red Sea. And it would just like traffic would stop and let us through. Cause like, if you see like 8 dudes in a Toyota Yaris all in camis and like medical supplies, like all in our hands, like, you know, something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, a major city.
Please, let me go first.
Please. What was even funnier is we blew through one intersection. I might have a video, but I'll have to look. But it was like something out of a cartoon. Like all you hear are like other people's tires screeching, and like the camera pans back, and the traffic's like upside down, like on top of each other, like world's worst traffic jam. And it's like, yeah, sorry, we have somewhere to be. We have lives to save. But yeah, it was crazy. Very few civilians driving around. Traffic laws don't apply to anyone. As long as you don't run through a checkpoint and get shot. I think I talked about this last week. We thought we had like I think Elon and I mentioned this. We thought we were there was a firefight like right in front of our apartment, our luxury kind of apartment we were staying at next to Madon. And then we learned like the next day that it was literally some Ukrainians shooting at like a satellite or like the ISS or something. Like they were scanning the sky with binoculars and saw like blinking lights and so started shooting in the air.
Oh my god. ISS dudes are like, hey yo, you see this?
Dog, look at this. I'm sure there's some things I'm forgetting and we went to this cool warehouse that they basically just converted into a shooting range. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let me pull up some pictures, and then we'll move on to some current events. Brought to you by Ian. I need to figure out how to do this so you guys and the audience can see them, so bear with me a minute. Alright, so we're gonna start... Once again, I'm gonna try not to dox anyone.
You can dox me.
Try. Well, I mean specifically like TDF people or
fair enough.
my team or things like that. All right. So, all right, can I share this in Discord? I promise I'm gonna get this streamlined a little bit better one day. Share your screen. Screen 2.
Stream. Oh god, I can see my house now.
Okay, now audience can't see it. Oh my goodness.
Interdimensional.
Whoa.
What I'm here for.
No, that's not it either. Hold on, boys.
I am disappointed.
Sorry, I'm trying. Wait, display capture. Is it this one? What happens if I open this photo now? Alright, now the audience can see it, but you guys can't, so I need to go here. Share your screen. Screen 1, or screen 2. Go live. Make that full screen.
Excuse me.
Alright, now you guys and the audience, can you all see it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, sweet. So audience can see it, you can see it. Alright. I'm gonna flip through these.
Oh, damn,
These
boys, we're
are-
dropping.
These are just random pictures I took. There aren't necessarily stories behind all of these. We'll just kind of flip through my camera roll. Oh, hold on. Where is this picture at? Alright. Here's a checkpoint. We're actually in a taxi at this time. I don't remember why. This appears to be probably a taxi. As you can see, there are very few cars out. Normally this would be, like, bumper-to-bumper traffic. To put in perspective, at the beginning of the wartime, we could drive from one side of Kyiv to literally the other end, like, diagonally, which would be a very long trip traditionally. We could do that in a taxi in about 15 minutes. We could do that in a military vehicle in, like, 10.
No, 15-minute city, no.
And when we came back, when I ended up leaving Ukraine, traveling around Kyiv, that would be about an hour and 15-minute plus drive. So, yeah, that just puts in perspective. If you wanted me to stop and show or talk about something, let me know. Press cars everywhere, as you can see. There's literally 3 of them right there. This looks like maybe it's an embassy, because there's an EU and a Ukrainian flag, as well as some other European flags I don't know. Sorry, everyone, I don't know your country's flag. Oh, shout out to this random guy in my picture. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. So right now, we're actually traveling, so can y'all see my mouse pointer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of.
So this, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going off of literally memory of pictures, but the road where my mouse pointer is on at the very end is running parallel to our road. And that is the road in the same direction we're traveling that Maidan is on, like Maidan Square, where all the protests and riots happened. So we're traveling in the direction of Maidan. Yeah, so here is, I forget what square this is on the left, but you can see there's a giant statue that they like sandbag and boarded up. Right here. The apartment this is a giant, on the right, this glass building, if I remember, this is like a Marriott or something. Something super, it was a fancy chain hotel. Our luxury apartment we stayed at is
Hyatt Regency, you can see it right on the top of it right there.
Oh yeah. That's a Hyatt.
Oh, I was waiting for, like, like Trump.
Trump Tower.
Trump Tower.
Trump Tower, Kyiv.
Mr. President, another fucking rocket has hit the Trump Tower.
Oh, that's gold, dude. Our kind of luxury apartment is on our 1 o'clock position up here. In fact, I think the next picture might be it. Oh no. Directly in front of us is also another square. That's actually more of a memorial. There's a memorial there with all the pictures and like names of soldiers that died in the 2014 invasion. It might be like the Square of Heroes or something. I don't remember a lot of these names. I apologize. Yeah, it's right up here. You see this wall, the blue sections on this wall? That's names of slain soldiers. You can also see on the left, there's another statue sandbagged up. Last week we actually showed some pictures of that statue before it was being bagged up. I don't know if you or the audience saw those pictures, but yeah.
So when you sandbag up like those statues and stuff like that, is that actually protected? I know it will from like majority of frag damage and stuff, but will that actually stop like if a 108 or something came flying down range and potentially struck near that? Or was that really
not necessarily?
Like
it was really fragmentation stuff. So like, I mean, it's not gonna like if it directly hits the sandbags, it's gonna penetrate and probably destroy the whole thing.
Or like relatively very close to it. But otherwise, anything that's like inside the square, like where the buses are currently, the sandbags are going to absorb pretty much whatever is going to get tossed away.
Yeah, typically none of that shrapnel. I mean, it's the same concept like bullets or frag grenades or anything else. I mean, shrapnel's relatively low velocity. I mean, 3A armor is rated for most shrapnel. Lux apartment.
I remember when you guys would send me videos in here. I'm like, man, these boys be literally living it up in the sweet life of Zach. Right?
This apartment. Shout out to the guy who let us use it. Not gonna dox him. I doubt he'll watch this podcast, but this apartment was such a big blessing. We went from not having a consistent place to stay. We were gonna be staying with a friend, a contact. With her and her man because they were just willing to. But we were heavily intruding on their life. Like, I mean, we took over their living room for a few days, and heavily intruding on their life and things, and it wasn't fair to them. And coming and going, and all these things. So this apartment was a huge place that we could call home for 2 months. That we could always store stuff at and, get a shower at. Like, we took for granted, something as simple as having a kitchen or getting a shower. So this place was such a huge blessing. That's the room I stayed in. There's my kit. This is how it started when I went over there. Relatively clean. Most of that was new. Had a, so we got, Faro Concepts FCPC, Haley Strategic flat panel, back panel, whatever the hell.
It's flat pack, and then you either got the ordinary one or the plus.
Mine's the expandable one.
Yeah, so it's the plus. That's what I got.
We got Faro cummerbund. We had or I had my Faro side plate bags. So fun fact: at the time I was leaving, Faro was back. If I remember correctly, they were back ordered on the Cobra belts. Or, excuse me, the Cobra buckles for the cummerbund, the quick releases. And I chose to buy some cheap Amazon tube adapters because that's quite literally all I could get in time to leave. I was on a pretty tight time schedule. And fun fact, those tube adapters tore in the middle of a firefight, and my plate carrier was flopping off while I was dodging bullets.
Amazing.
So,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, part 69 of Don't Buy Cheap Kit and Expect It to Hold Up. Yeah. Just don't buy airsoft quality stuff. It had a Spiritus Mark IV, Spiritus Dangler. I don't remember what my cell phone flip down admin pouch was. I still have it somewhere. It was an older something, but it worked. Yeah. Obviously my helmet and belt and everything else. Taking gear pictures. We got the amount of times I was asked by Ukrainians who the American soldier hero is. I was like, boy, do I have a story for you. Just remember, you can't corner the Dorner, kids.
He's like a chess piece. He can't be cornered.
Tragic.
All right, let me make sure.
Gone too soon.
Actually, I guess I did show some of these pictures last week, but we'll flip through them because I don't know what people saw. Just close up of my stickers. I was quite proud of those, taking them across. This is a ham, egg, and cheese sandwich, maybe? Or maybe it's just
maybe it's just a
grilled cheese with ham. We didn't have a lot of food options. Like this
Salami.
is this is literally like a meal we would eat.
But y'all didn't
Hell
have that gobblagoo? Feel bad
Dude,
for you.
like I think Elon and I talked about it last episode. You know, we might have to go to like 5 different stores. Like one store might have bread, one store might have cheese, one store might have salami.
That'd be so
That's just how it
irritating.
goes. Here's the kitchen. Nice floors, heated floors. Once again, like this place was, we didn't deserve something this great. I mean, it was so nice. Well, I'm sorry,
We're
individual
clicking
and
through
photos.
his.
Yeah,
We're clicking
sorry,
through his
individual and photos.
pornography. He's like, oh, whoops, sorry, that was the feet
Wait,
pics.
what happened?
Nothing. There was someone in there that has not been
Wasn't blurred.
named. That wasn't blurred.
Mm.
I'm like looking at the thumbnails of these pictures. I flipped through them and it was too small for me to see them sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
There's me putting my AK pieces together. So I took over literally everything I need. I took over. I had a Holosun ACSS reticled red dot. I had an EOTech G43 magnifier or G33 magnifier, and the Unity mounts to match. I took a TWS dog leg rail over with me. Big shout out to them. They gave me one for a great price. They helped me out a lot. I appreciate you guys. Took over a Magpul handguard, which I would not take over again. I actually had to cut the sling mounts off the AKs to make it work. I'm not a huge AK guy and didn't realize that before I went over. Yeah. So Magpul handguard, BCM gunfighter, foregrip, and my Surefire M300V.
Absolutely
some
love
more
my BCM.
pictures. Oh, Pikachu tooth. Oh, I did show some of these pictures last week because I remember, like, I guess this is what I found to be the coolest thing in the entire store was Pikachu toothpaste.
For
That's the only-
$41, buy
I
to
was about to say.
Yeah, that's 41 Hrivna, which has, depending on the day, about a 4x conversion.
4 times. So you're looking at like what, $10?
$10.
Yeah, probably something like that. Yeah, stuff's expensive all the
damn.
time.
Toothpaste?
Yeah, but no, hold on. It's Pokemon toothpaste.
Oh
dude.
wait. No, I'm sorry. Poland is a 4x conversion. Ukraine's somewhere in like a 30 to 40. So this is the equivalent of like $1.50. Yeah, my apology.
Gotcha.
Due to
That makes
having
more sense.
someone in my life, I have to know Polish financial conversions. But yeah, no, this is about $2, $1.50, somewhere in there.
I have $3.
That's Maidan Square down in there. Down the road. There's Elon walking down the road. Let's see. Oh, there's Maidan. Over here. He's kind of behind the trees. We're just going on walking adventures. Here's something for the boys.
There we go.
Eggs, toast, and cheese. A Wilcox mount that I actually had issues with. I remember specifically, I was on the phone with Wilcox when I took these pictures.
Is that the one that I sent you over there with?
Maybe. Did you send me a tan one or a black one? I think this is the one
I
you
gave you
sent
the black one that I had.
Yeah, so this is yours. And I was having issues with it locking in. I actually ended up having to shim it. One of the screws was stripped on it or something was going on. And they were like, yeah, we're sorry, that really sucks. Here's some things you can do to try to mitigate that. Which, fun fact, I did end up actually, like, basically, like, thread locking and shimming the thing. Served me my whole time over there, and on the way back, it was in the same pouch as my 360 camera, and I can't find either. So, I don't know if someone stole them out of my bag, like, leaving the airport, like, I'm not sure. There's a chance that they could still be, I still have some stuff in Ukraine, in country. There's a chance they could have gotten, like, I put them in a baggie and then, you know, put the baggie in the wrong, you know, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I was very sad because I, had my 360 camera with an SD card in it and that in the same bag. Yeah, rip. Some eggies. Kefir.
Oh, I love kefir.
It's disgusting.
It's not.
It's like sour cream yogurt that you drink.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
It's really good for your gut, dude. I'll take that over a kombucha any fucking day, dude.
You can take both those and shove them. Here's a quick couple selfies.
I'll definitely send you the video of me sitting on the bottle of kefir.
We got the fog shirt on. I literally had... Wait, what did you just say?
I was gonna say, you just gonna gloss right
Did
over
you?
that?
Did I just hear you
Man's
say?
just- I said I'll send you the video of me sitting down on the kefir bottle, and everybody literally waited a very audible "oh," except you. You just went right on.
Yeah. Fun fact. Everyone knows who Forward Observations Group is.
Of course they do.
I got waved through airport.
Hey.
I got waved through airport customs because he goes, "Oh, you're Forward Observation Group," because I had a fog sticker on my Pelican case. He's like, "You're military. You're with Forward." He's like, "I follow you on Instagram." And he's like, "Thanks for coming thanks for going to help in Ukraine." I was like, "Yeah, dog." And he literally waved me through in Poland when I got
You're
off
like,
the
yeah,
plane.
man. As you sit there with your Chris Dorner sticker on there as well.
And the amount of people, like, I'd walk
You're like,
around,
this
like, I
guy-
didn't
this
bring
guy's the
civilian
founder.
clothes. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't bring
this is the
civilian
founder.
clothes. Oh, yeah. I'm the founder of the fog.
No, the Chris
No,
Dorner. 'Cause
no,
I bet you
Chris
didn't know who it
Dorner.
was.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chris
I'd be like,
Dorner! Oh, dude, I should have told people Chris Dorner was the founder. Oh, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, like I would have milked the meme titties overseas, dude. Like they would have not been able
That's
to.
him. That's
anything.
Raoul Duke right there.
Yeah, that's Raul Duke. Does he look like a bitch?
The world's greatest, or America's greatest hero. He was a veteran, a police officer.
He did great wonders for the law enforcement community.
Very
yeah, dude,
highly effective counter-terrorist.
Well, yes, but actually,
It's just
yes.
too bad that before he could get his firefighting certification, he died tragically to a fire.
That he did not set himself, by the way.
He did not set himself at all.
But yeah, so I didn't take
Oh,
over
that-
any civilian
I would like
clothes.
to go on the record and say I was not taking. oh, I would like to go on record and say I was not taking part in that conversation.
Oh, that's true. That was a three-way conversation. But yeah, I didn't take over civilian clothes. Like, I didn't exactly expect to just be walking around Kyiv, like, buying groceries. So this is like my daily attire I'd walk around in.
Oh,
And the
so
amount
you
of,
were
like,
still high vis.
Yeah, and like the amount of Ukrainians that would be like, "Oh, I know Forward Observation Group," or like point to my shirt and smile and thank me. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me." Yep. mhm."
Our next guest on next
awkward.
week's episode is Raul Duke.
Bro, I'll 100% message him and be like, "Yo, thanks for helping me out in Ukraine," without realizing it.
Passively, just from your association with what you guys did, I was waved in by Ukrainian TSA.
Let's see. Here's Madon Square. These cool little like steel poster things tell the story of what happened. Let's see. Yeah, cool. There's actually a underground mall below the square that's like a
There's
three-story
nothing left,
luxury
only
mall.
Metro.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was not open at this time, but it existed. It was actually part of it was a military base.
That makes sense, though. I mean, it's reinforced already for,
Yeah, there's
important
KFC.
reasons.
You can see Elon also there in the reflection. An
Okay,
absolute
but like,
G.
did they really like the fried chicken?
Dude, Ukrainians love KFC.
Wait, is
Oh.
that Dwayne the Rock
It's
Johnson?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I took a picture of this. It's an Under Armour billboard.
They're like, yes, we
Dwayne
love The Rock, yes. And you're like,
Yeah.
sitting over here with all your Dwayne The Rock memes, like, ready to, like,
This is the Georgian food. I loved it.
is that like an
Still
apple
do.
fritter?
No, this is like pizza. It's the one we talked about last episode. It's just like cheese, butter, and eggs and bread. It's delicious.
Oh, yo, so that's more like a, it's almost like less desserty creme brulee in that case because of the egg and stuff like that, but it's more cheesy. So, did it have like a saltiness to it?
No. It's basically like pizza just without sauce and lots of like thick cheeses. Also,
No.
you can see my gum in the wrapper and my.
Well,
Ultimas.
I guess what I'm seeing is the flour. I thought it was like I guess what I'm seeing also is the cheese. I thought it was like cream cheese, and then
No, it's
I
like
looked
a bunch of like
sugar.
strong cheeses.
Oh,
It's not
oh,
sweet at
Pork
all.
and Solo.
This is a park. Really cool park, great views. That's a buoy. We joked that it looked like a crashed plane in the in the river. It looked like a tail number. There's a view, a gorgeous view. That's the Dnipro River. Dnipro River again. Fun fact. We'll come back to this. Come back to this next week. But that bridge that was right there with the red.
It's gone.
No, it's still there. We were walking that bridge and had to apply medical aid to a civilian that a drunk soldier stabbed in his femoral artery.
What the fuck?
Blood like
I remember,
covering.
like the night after that. I remember you fucking sending something like telling us about that. I was like, what?
The dude, the soldiers had the soldier, like the TDF, the police, no one had any idea how to stop this kid's bleeding. Blood's like covering the road. Like it looked like someone poured like a 2-gallon jug of red fluid all over the road.
Oh, like transmission fluid. That's pretty much like, yeah. That's
it
pretty
was just
much
blood.
Yeah, just tons of fucking
there's
blood.
just blood everywhere. The guy's like, it's okay. It was a misunderstanding. I'm sorry. And the soldier's like, it was a crazy situation. Leave it to the foreign volunteers that have IFAC fanny packs. Yeah, we're literally sitting there with fanny packs, and for some hilarious reason, we're just trying to cross the bridge, and we're stopped at a checkpoint. Because there's a checkpoint on either side of the bridge, like check your ID or whatever. We're with our commander at the time, or maybe we weren't. I don't remember who we were with, but we're like showing our paperwork or documents that hey, like our passport or whatever, like we're not Russian spies. And these just random soldiers come running up to us, and they're like, "Please come, Davai, help!" And we're like, we look at like the soldiers who have our passports, and we look like back, and the other 2 soldiers have already taken off. And we're like, and they hand us our passports, and they're like, go, and we're like, oh, what's going on?
Help me, I need water.
And then,
water.
I guess literally they just, I don't know, they literally just grabbed us, and we had fanny pack IFACs on, mitigated the bleeding. Yeah, that was chaos. And then either the next time or the time after that, we were on the bridge. We watched the missile hit the building, and we called that like our cursed bridge, because every time we went to the bridge something else would happen. That was the time we had to respond to the helipad on top of that building. This is a beautiful park. 10 out of 10, recommend. I know I'm flipping through these fast. We're at an hour and 40 minutes already and still have current events.
I was gonna say I'm actually I'm probably gonna have to go. I gotta take these doggos out and everything.
Sandbagging. I'm playing something on my Switch.
Is that Door Kickers?
I have no idea what this is, to be honest. And supermarkets. Where's training? Let me see if I have some. I don't want to dox. There's me. I don't know. This is one of our translators. We still talk, and this is Leeds. Hi, bud. I'll have him on as a guest one day. Kind of flip through. Here's me teaching class. I don't know. Someone took this of me.
I remember you sending that to us.
Yeah, it's just like me teaching how to. I don't even remember what I was doing. Here's where. I don't know what.
I think you guys are potentially doing under fire.
Yeah, they're literally hitting the ground. Everyone's in the middle of their motion. For some reason I thought we were like trying to tell them like low like
bear crawl,
crab walk, but no, this is literally just a perfect frame of them hitting the deck. Yeah, here you go.
Oh my god.
That's pretty cool.
Who's the cameraman? He never dies, but he does his raise.
I don't know who this is because I'm over there. So this might be like somebody's obviously using my phone. Maybe Elon or one of the other guys taking the pictures. I don't want to dox any of the Ukrainians in this. Oh, here's Elon. And we're in the HQ right here.
Smile to like serious.
Oh wait, here's some blurred edited photos. Here's us with one of the platoons. And this one also looks blurred. Yeah, here we go. Here's another one. This wasn't a full platoon, but this is some of the guys. And then I think where we'll leave off today is I was very proud of my alpha patch when we got it, having a conversation with the alpha commander and kind of like the decision to finally like, hey, yeah, let's go fight, guys. My Gerber diesel, shout out to Gerber. I lost that at a hospital when I got a concussion and got blown up. Rip. Here's some food. Here's one of our meals we got. This was a delicious meal, and I was very thankful for it. It was rice and chicken, and something just really hit home about it.
Is that an energy drink?
Oh, yeah, so that is hell. Hell would be like the Ukrainian army's equivalent of Rippets.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Sean would probably fucking love that shit.
Hells are amazing. They taste similar to Red Bull, like almost like a Red Bull Monster mix, and they're very cheap. So that energy drink, that was probably given to us because they were all sold out. Like they were basically restricted to military at the time.
Damn, do you know if they're still open to market? Because we should order some of those, like each of us, and then we'll all try them together on podcast.
Yeah, I'll be 100% down for that. I'll share you with the Rippets Hell's non-stops. There's some other Ukrainian energy drinks. These things cost about 30 cents, 30 to 75 cents each.
God.
So,
what?
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me my caffeine addiction doesn't have to break my wallet?
Yep. And Red Bulls will cost you about $1 each. So let that sink in.
All right. Well, I guess I'm in countries.
Here's one more food picture.
Which leads us to this episode sponsored G Fuel.
Use code Lada at gamersubs.gg.
Why is
Gamersubs be slapping though?
I'm trying to open this last. I want to show 2 more pictures.
Heyo.
Did you guys see? Shout out Cold Ones. They brought on the Halo announcer guy and had him say some unhinged shit. Dude, A1 content right there.
I absolutely love those.
I need you to send that to me.
Here's a map we found in the HQ.
Divorce finalized.
If you would like to zoom in on this picture we found in the map we found, all this is the USSR.
Oh, so it's like an old map. Wow. Okay.
This is an old map.
Yeah, it has a heart on it.
And all of this is the USSR. Like, they even put things...
Pretty sure it's Ukraine.
No,
I don't know, because everything looks like it's USSR. Like, they put things that they didn't even really actually have control of.
Hold on, no, I'm going to look at a fucking map now, even though my phone
I'm pretty sure that's Ukraine.
I think you're right.
I already see Kazakhstan, it looks like.
Because right there on the left, that's yeah.
Yeah, I think this says Kyiv. And this would be the Dnipro River. Yeah, so this is Ukraine, because there's Kyiv. But yeah, literally, they're just like, everything's the... Like, look how big this is.
The world is Soviet.
Like, wait, is this...
Do you think they ever had like
Isn't
inspections
this Vietnam?
from state agents? Yeah.
Or is this...
No, because so
Korea?
that's actually in between. If you look there, in between, I don't know if they're actually claiming it. That was what the Japanese and Russians fought over during the Russo-Japo War.
Yeah.
Was that small island in between them. And that's when the
this
Russians
is Tokyo. Like, here's Tokyo. This is obviously Japan.
Yep.
And whatever this is, they're like, this is ours. Like, they're literally claiming this.
Down below on yellow, that's Korea. So Vietnam.
Oh, wait, this is Korea?
That's the Korean. That's the Korean peninsula. Yeah.
So then Vietnam should be to the left of that somewhat.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
There's glare here. Oh, I don't know why I thought this was.
Yeah, because Laos should be one of those ones over there too.
But yeah, I love how they just like. Oh wait, hold on.
Even Alaska?
No, this is Alaska? No. I thought something that's the same color as America. I was like, dude, they're stretching it.
Like, Mr. President, they printed their maps and they took Alaska. Those bastards. Now we have to annex Canada.
Operation Anchorage, boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess maybe 2 more pictures. This is the building we actually moved into. To stay with the soldiers. We were here for all of like 12 hours before they felt really bad. They're like, no, you have to have like a shower. You have to. They found this American flag for us and brought it.
That's pretty cool.
That's nice.
They were like, we wanted you to feel at home, so they brought us this flag. And we
Meanwhile,
were
you
gonna
have
stay
like,
with the
you have
soldiers.
like 3 Brits on your team at this point, don't you? Like 3
Just
Europeans.
one. So there's
Okay.
there's Elon James Leeds. We've talked about him, and I won't disclose the name of the other 2 people sitting down. I know they've been public about being in Ukraine and stuff. But I haven't personally asked them if I can dox them. One of them is still there, the other is not. So that I'll go with that. I'm sure we'll talk about them and maybe have them on in future episodes. One is on the front lines right outside of Bakhmut right now. That's all for the pictures I have for this week. Next week, here's a few little sneak peek pictures. This is quite literally where Fog has trained people. Is this building here? It's an abandoned mental asylum. There's Elon playing dead. He got banged, but he wanted to smoke a cigarette, so there he is. But yeah, there are plenty of pictures of like Fog and stuff training people here. Or at least in Fog's like little promo videos they have. Can you see faces in this? Oh nope, I happened to click a blurred one. So there you go. That's what you have to look forward to next week. Next week for our main topic, we're going to go into basically the latter 4 weeks of us training the Ukrainians, and then, our response to, and our response to, like, the missile strike. This is the first ever PKM I saw in my life. I was extremely excited.
As I would be.
I immediately held it, took a picture, and set it back down. But yeah, so next week we'll go into that, kind of the story of like 8 of us or however many it was driving through Kyiv in a Toyota, I believe is a Toyota Yaris with a 4-seater hatchback.
The most operational vehicle known to mankind.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go into that, and then
the high point of tactical vehicles.
The high point of tactical, the most versatile. And and then also next week I ended up going to Sumy, which is on the quite literally, it's about 30 clicks off the border of Russia. And I went there immediately following the Russian retreat. I mean, within a day or 2. Things were still on fire, and I'll tell you guys some stories about that, what I saw. Some pictures of just raw destruction. And we'll talk about that. And yeah, so anybody have any questions before we move into current events real quick?
Nope.
Alright, let's
Hey Sean, you should look at my camera anyway.
Oh, well.
Alright, current events. Ian, do you mind starting us off about Hawaii? Oh.
No. Go ahead and look back up. He's gonna look soon.
It's a pupper.
It's his favorite pupper. Oh, she's leaving. She's leaving by force.
It's trying to load, sorry.
It's too late, man.
Ian, do you mind giving us a couple minutes on Hawaii? Your thoughts, what people can do to help. Just giving us a spiel from someone in Hawaii.
Basically, West Maui's fucked. And the state of Hawaii is actively contributing to the problem as opposed to being part of the solution.
The state, you mean the government?
At this point, yes, the state of Hawaii, yeah. Basically, the official narrative at this point is that the high winds from a passing tropical storm dislodged some power lines and caused a grass fire behind a Taco Bell in Lahaina, Maui. And pretty soon after that, due to the high wind, the fire had spread and has taken most of the town. At this point, there's thousands of people displaced. Pretty much anybody that lived in Lahaina town has lost their entire home. Lots of people have lost family. I know personally a few people that have lost family. And the circumstances of the fire are pretty suspicious. I'm not by any means the best source of information, so I will preface all of this that I'm about to say with this is what I know and what I've seen. This is not me telling you this is the gospel or anything like that, because as you would expect, the situation's not very clear still. they've only searched approximately between 25 and 50% of the affected area. So the death toll is still rising. We don't really know what's going on. But,
is the search time is the fact that search taking so long, is that due to like manpower? Is it due to like infrastructure being just obliterated?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all of that. They are extremely short-staffed because it is a very small community. Maui is already a small community, and West Maui in particular. The infrastructure and the resources are just not there. But also, allegedly, a big part of why it's taking so long is because of the toxicity levels in the areas that have been burned, because there's still things smoldering and stuff like that, and these small rural fire and police departments are not equipped to handle large scale CBRN type threats like that. So it's very slow going.
The picture of Engine 1 in Maui.
Oh, I haven't seen that again.
I haven't saved. If you guys haven't seen it, I can send it.
Yeah, can you drop it and I'll either screenshot or you can screen. I don't know how. Oh, you're on your phone.
Yeah, right here. Right here. In general, or in the chat thing.
But yeah, man, the whole thing's pretty sus.
Sussy wussy.
The scenario that allegedly caused the fire has apparently been a known issue for the power utility company in the area, as well as the city of Lahaina and the county of Maui, and all of that has been a known risk for several years at this point.
Is that public information, or is that more just kind of private speculation?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
No, it's public information. There's been hearings about it and things like that. So that's not
a good look.
Yeah. But aside from that, during the actual disaster, there was some pretty suspicious things going on. The water service to a lot of the hydrants was cut off, so the fire department would roll in and try to do their job and stop the fire from coming through a neighborhood or something like that. They'd hook up to the water and there'd be no water coming out. The head of civil defense refused to use the warning sirens that are in place for tsunami or other threats to warn people that the fire was coming.
Why? They had one job.
No, it gets worse. It gets worse. Trust me, it gets worse. He refused to use the sirens, and then when he was asked about it, he said he did not regret refusing to use the sirens. And said in a later statement that he did not regret saying that he did not regret using the sirens.
Like, this is like the whole Reddit incident, like, all over again. It's like just doubling down, just over and over and over.
Yeah. Also, some folks reported there were some trucks from the power utility company that were actively hindering folks' ability to evacuate the area.
Yes, so I saw a video from, I don't remember his name. He's, if I remember correctly, a Hawaiian native who posted something on Instagram about that. I don't remember his name. He has a relatively decent following.
Yeah. So there's been quite a few people that have made those allegations. I am not personally on Maui. I was not there, so I don't know what happened. But there's a lot of folks saying some pretty negative things about the emergency response. Let's see what else.
So earlier in our little pre-show, why don't we do a pre-show? Probably because we'd get canceled. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. All right. There's not going to be a pre-show, but for the audience, we have we basically block an hour and a half before the show and just catch up with each other, just have some fellowship. Like, I think we said in the first 1 or 2 episodes, we used to all live pretty close together, and we did a lot together all the time. And since we've kind of dispersed a little bit, so we spend an hour and a half just catching up every week, just hanging out, spend time together, going over our topics. And you mentioned something with the police chief.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I got one more little thing to go
okay.
into before
Sorry.
we get to the chief of police. But it kind of ties into that. The state of Hawaii and Maui County are actively stopping local folks' efforts to bring in supplies and provide aid to people in the disaster area.
Oh, so the community can't
National
help
Guard.
itself.
Yep. The National Guard shut down the boat ramp, the public boat ramp, because folks were bringing stuff in by boat.
Thanks, Natty
There
Guard.
there is a second
I don't
boat
claim
ramp
the
that's
state of
on
Hawaii.
private land that people are now using because the government can't access it to stop people.
Have they
So that's
attempted to
good.
try to shut that down or send like the equivalent of like
Not that
can the
I've
government
heard
send cease and
yet.
desist on private property? I don't know how that works.
Not that I've heard yet. I don't think they can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
legally,
unless they
'cause
do
it's
some
outside
shit
of
like
the
during
disaster area.
Katrina.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
outside
mean-
of the disaster area, so even if they do, it's not really.
Gotcha.
Feasible.
So it almost
But,
seems like the government's trying to keep the community from helping itself, so the community relies more
Yeah.
on the government.
Yeah, because
Yes.
speaking of Maui Police, Maui Police are actively road blocking the roads into and out of Lahaina. So unless you are accompanied by police or in an official state vehicle, you cannot enter the area to bring supplies in or anything.
That's
and they're
disgusting.
they're not being nice about it. They're not being nice about it either. I've heard that some people have been turned away at gunpoint and even handcuffed.
That sounds like some actual tyranny going on. Like legitimate, hey, you can't go back to your property because we deem your property not safe for you to go back to.
Yep, that's also a thing that's happened.
I've come
folks
across
who
a couple of things of like independent journalists and reporters filming themselves being followed and run up on by strangers. And
Strangers?
it's like a reoccurring thing. Yeah, quote unquote strangers. And it's been like a reoccurring thing.
Concerned citizens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
to where like independent journalists out there like we're being fucking stalked. Like and the police won't do anything about it.
And actively silenced. Yeah.
Hey, if anybody needs press security, like independent press security, hit me up or us or
reach out.
Ian. Ian lives there.
Find us on Instagram. But yeah, Sean, you're gonna like this one. The guy who is now the chief of police in Maui has some experience with high-profile disaster response.
Oh shit! I'm on the edge of my seat.
His previous job before he was chief of police in Maui
let me turn my video.
He was the chief of police in Las Vegas.
No.
Yes. And he was the chief of police when a certain country music event happened.
Try that at the country music festival in Las Vegas.
No way.
And he made a brief stop between those jobs when he left his position in Las Vegas. He went to a FBI leadership academy before he got his job as chief of police in Maui.
The jokes write themselves.
Life imitates art. It's just that simple, dude.
God damn, bro.
Yeah, you can't write this stuff, man.
That's something. What did we say earlier? Glowing.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of allegations flying around as to how above board all of this stuff is.
Really quick, you brought that up. I would like to go on the record and state really quick that nuclear motive has been found for Stephen Paddock's actions.
But
What do you mean? What do you mean they closed the investigation after a year? What? Hello?
I'd also just like to say some alleged whistleblower Reddit posts were immediately deleted after whistleblowing and claimed to be false. So use that information as you may.
It's crazy, man.
We won't go down that whole rabbit hole, but yeah, do some research on that if you want a good read.
Oh, last thing. If you are on vacation in Maui right now, go fuck yourself. You should go home.
That's fair.
Because
it's a national disaster zone, not a tourist.
Yeah. The county is actively diverting supplies away from people who were affected by the disaster to support the tourists in the hotels. So, if you're part of that problem, then leave.
Yeah, unless
Everybody
you're
move
taking the
somewhere
supplies
else.
yourself illegally to help those in need, like, get the fuck out.
Shout out to Finance and Maneuver.
Hell yeah, Jordan and the boys coming to the rescue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good on those guys.
Some good work.
They're actually on their way to California right now.
Yep. I'll put in the show notes, there is a Instagram account that lists information for how you can donate directly to people that are affected.
Nice.
It's not through some kind of third-party charity or anything. It's Venmo information for the actual people who need it. So
we will drop that down in the video description on YouTube. That's the only place we have the video. Yeah, YouTube video. First line of YouTube video description. Let's help out Hawaii. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ian. That's good stuff. I've been a little bit out of pocket this week, especially on that stuff, and I know a lot of people aren't talking about it. The people that are talking about it don't seem to have a platform, and like the ones that do just seem to kind of gloss over what's actually going on. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of media coverage of what's going on. Like,
yeah, because they're trying to keep it quiet, man.
Media's only talking about Donald Trump's hearings right now, and I think something happened to Mitch McConnell.
I was going to say, what you're going to definitely hear is once everything blows over with California, how they just had a 5.5 magnitude earthquake today on top of the hurricane, which they, for some reason, decided they were going to deem Hillary this year. So that's cool.
So,
and I haven't heard of a hurricane ever hitting California before, so that's kind of odd. But
it's their first tropical storm watch in history. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally? Okay, so I wasn't odd on that. Okay.
Can we cut back for a second? I didn't realize when you said Finance and Maneuver was going to California, it's because of that. I've had no internet for 3 days. I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah. Well, the tropical storm just hit their coast, I think, in the past 2 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I didn't know
it's their first hurricane or typhoon, depending on it's geographically how that changes. And I think Pacific-wise, it should be a typhoon, but...
Dang. Yeah, I've been out in the woods.
It's actually which side of the equator it's on, so it is.
Oh, that's which side of the equator it's on. All right, well,
people from
you fucking nerd with your nerd hair.
All right, well,
sorry, I wanted to be a weatherman. Okay, fuck you guys.
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
They're coming in the back.
All right, so yeah, how to help Hawaii. First line in YouTube video description. After the video gets completely uploaded, I will edit that or add that in. Sean.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about our beloved internet dog and the tragedy?
Yeah. Talking about current events, and the first thing that came to mind is that Cheems, the dog, died. Or the Cheems meme, the dog from it died. I can't remember what the dog's name was. Apparently.
F in the chat.
Yeah, F in the chat for my boy. Good boy. Yeah. Well, without him, the memes just wouldn't be possible. Yeah. Don't let your memes.
Bunk, go to sad jail.
Apparently, dog had cancer.
Hi, I'm NASCAR.
Oh,
that's big sad, dude.
That is terribly sad. You're ruining my night.
So, in the comments of the YouTube video, comment your favorite Cheems.
Yeah. Give us your favorite Cheems meme. If we like it, we'll feature it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big sad for that. That's as big of a deal as Harambe. Big sad.
Yeah, I said that's possibly bigger than Harambe. Now I had time to reflect on that statement, and I now realize that was an incorrect statement. we have still not recovered from the death of Harambe.
Yep.
We
Yep,
likely
I was
never
gonna say,
will.
We had
Yeah.
The world has
Harambe.
not been the same.
James.
That was what. That was really the turning point. That's
Angry
what
Cat.
all.
Angry Cat's also dead.
Well, can we let's have the real question. So we know at this point it's all but been confirmed that Bush did in fact kill Harambe. But did he kill Cheems?
I don't know.
No, Putin did it.
Who did it?
Okay.
All right.
We gotta get that war propaganda turning. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Our last
Do
our
it for
last
Cheems.
topic will be
Was it
Hold on.
Putin or Erdogan?
all right, here's our last topic. Our boys in the news again.
Oh fuck! I forgot we were talking about this.
I think I forgot already
Oh
too.
god.
So we have 3 back-to-back. Interview. Quote, Boogaloo activist Mike freaking Dunn speaks out the head of Gloucester rally against sheriff.
Oh, Jamie, you said the B word. We're gonna have to censor that out. They're probably
Oh.
Mike Dunn, if you're
Yeah,
watching
Mike.
this, fuck yourself.
Yeah. And don't come after me, you freaking glowing Fed.
You fucking informant, bitch.
I think I might, yeah.
State act. Fuck.
So,
Yeah,
also, we're just gonna
Honestly,
watch
one
a
of us
clip
kind
of
of knew this
this.
guy when he went overseas to help with a certain particular military operation that totally isn't going bad for one other country that still calls it a military operation. And this same person that just so happened to be able to fight with Mike Dunn also just so happens to like Ladas. And definitely says that this guy can suck a major fat wad cock.
We,
Jamie
there's
doesn't
a,
Sometimes we have to curse for him.
oh yeah. Yeah, there's hold on. When I searched this, it was like I'll find it again. But yeah, it was
No, dude,
like,
just do the short one. Just do the short one.
well, no,
So I can
I
make
wanted to, no, we're not.
dumbass
I
face.
wanted to show you his kit. Let's just look at this for a minute.
Is he still
Hey, Blake.
rocking the KSG or whatever?
Oh,
the
VR80?
No, he had a semi-auto shotgun.
Yeah. That was I think
Without
Okay.
sights or something. All right.
His plate carrier either appears
that
to
him?
be in a safe
Yeah.
place.
Oh my
Well,
god.
hold on. Let's roast this kit. We gotta roast the kit.
So
Bro, hold on. Is that a Magpul stock, the UBR or whatever? That's like $150
Yes, it is.
stock.
Bro,
but the guy
my
can't
guy,
afford a better plate carrier.
What is going on, my dude?
So, first of all, this is a Condor plate carrier. He has a 3CY. Well, it's not 3, so in English, we just call it 3CY hub patch. So 3CI is the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So he has like a Ukraine patch on a Condor carrier.
I knew
Also,
Condor,
this
yeah.
dude doesn't know how to smoke a cigarette. Look at this.
Yeah,
He's smoking it like a
obviously
joint.
Look at this. He goes,
and it's not working.
he bites it.
According
There's a,
zoning laws for the government facility, not school property, which is where they
Oh
arrested
my
for
god.
boys for
hold on.
which is within their
Did y'all
rights.
notice his helmet though?
We're gonna do the same thing today.
This guy's got a
come back.
Zoning laws
Bushmaster.
where they
I'm sorry, I lost it there. Oh,
Wait for his helmet to turn to the side, and then you're gonna identify the rail system. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like if you
Government
don't already
facility,
identify it, I can call it
Oh
out for you.
no.
got it.
oh no, not the hard-headed veterans.
Yep. All right, and let's totally neglect the fact that I think he has a striker fire pistol and a leather holster, so it's probably crossbreed.
Down syndrome bucket.
Hell yeah, dude.
And don't forget the Ukraine logo, the coat of arms on his right forearm.
Oh,
Or, excuse me,
my
left forearm.
God.
Those pouches, though, like why?
I'm
Because they
pretty
were
sure
20
those are
bucks.
just Condor double stack pouches.
Yeah,
They might be Eagle
Pouches
because you can
on
find
the
those
black-
around.
Yeah, no, they're old school Eagle ones, like the
Okay,
ones that
okay.
you get for $12 for
Yeah.
the shingle from the surface.
I mean,
is that
In his defense, though, those $12 Eagles are better quality than his $45 Condor plate carrier.
than
Oh, yeah.
the rest
Which,
of his kit.
hold on,
yeah.
does he have plates in that?
I guarantee he doesn't.
No,
I
it's
don't think he
stuffed.
does.
It's
I
stuffed
think it's
armor.
where
limp.
they arrested. Before
Wait,
boys
hold on.
yeah.
You know, you might be right, Jamie. Hold on. Let me zoom,
I
I'm
think it's
zoomed in about
limp.
as much as it'll let me.
Hold on, I can go frame by frame. Dude, we're starting internet. Dude, I think, watch the whole carrier move. when he picks it up.
It's just completely froze.
Like, you see this?
I just don't see any rigidity in it. Unless if he does have plates, it's probably soft.
I think
probably
it's
soft
soft
plates, yeah.
because the corners don't ripple. It's like the whole thing has.
Yeah.
So
It's soft.
FSTS is just Kevlar.
And also, can we talk about the Amazon like one Tigress airsoft helmet cover that doesn't actually?
Yeah, dude.
That doesn't fit it.
And Mike, my guy, where's your ear
ten?
pro?
He doesn't even have like at least the 3Ms in, dude. I think
Like the dude's
Can we
gonna
talk
shoot.
about the facial hair? Can we talk about the British multi-terrain camo top?
Yeah.
he probably pulled that. He probably got that from Ukraine.
Oh my god, is that a Taurus pistol?
Oh wait,
It probably
hold on, let's
is.
see.
I was
Oh,
thinking
it
Taurus
is. It's a G2C.
Oh my god.
My man decided he was going to budget everything on his rifle, dude.
Mike,
I think he's got a decent build on his rifle so far. I think they're from the rail system. He's spent money on this fucking AR, but I think he blew like all of his money on just the AR.
But he didn't spend money on anything else.
Yeah,
I don't have a full zoomed in. Maybe we'll get it better.
keep going. Yeah,
but-
so I also want to see this next guy because the next guy actually
looks
looked like.
Hold on. He looks like the kid.
Wait, is that
the
an
older
EMAG?
kid from from Talladega Nights
Oh my
that
gosh,
grew
he
up
does.
and got into airsoft.
Dude, I think that's an EMAG.
Fuck you, Chip.
I think is that an EMAG? I can't tell. I think it is,
It may be, but there's also just the windowed mags that are still made.
but I don't see the extra ridges.
Well, probably because of the low quality of the video right now.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
not a
fair.
PMAG.
Zoning laws where the government.
I'm telling you, I think that's an EMAG. I think homie literally spent as much on his mag as he does an entire plate carrier.
Within their rights.
This guy's actually got, I think,
All right.
Swordens on.
He's got
That's a
got
Safari
Swordens
Land.
on.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
a
an
Safari Land.
ACR or is that a Jackal?
That is
Dude,
a
that's
Bushmaster.
That's yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, and it's an Elcan. Dude, that guy's optic cost as much as Mike Dunn's entire kit.
He's got
Rifle
the
included.
And he's
M17,
got
so
the-
this is interesting. He's got the
M81
M17.
cries on too.
He's got the
Mhm.
6-hour M17, and I'm guessing that Safari Land is likely for a Glock. So I'm wondering if this guy's going to have a similar incident with his handgun
Yeah.
going off in the holster as
It's
that
a
police
Safari
officer.
Land.
No, those are the airsoft camis.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see on the pocket there's
And,
no
see what
there's no
happened.
cry
Oh, you're right.
branding on the arm pocket. He got the Emerson gears on.
He's got and he doesn't have any
Yeah.
arc attachments. He's running the Swordens underneath the helmet.
Underneath. He's got the Oakley like oil rigs.
Brought to you
He
by
has
American-
the Nortos or the JR mount.
The Rhino mount, yeah.
Yeah, the Rhino, thank you. Oh, my phone camera just died. Well, alright. Guess you're not getting any more video of me today.
What's
M17 with
the-
flashlight. Oh, and that's an optic on the M17 also. Is that JPC?
That's what I'm wondering.
We're taking this
Can't
frame
tell.
by
Looks
frame,
like
ladies
it
and
from the
gentlemen.
cummerbund.
Bringing you the drama the gun community needs right now. Also, is that an AWS belt or a GBRS belt? Oh, what the My guy! Who taught you anything?
Cover.
Who taught you anything?
Cover.
Dude, this guy's sitting here like, boys, we're going on deployment to a kindergarten. Let's go.
All right,
It's a
so it goes from
target-rich
this
environment.
to boom.
So basically, the
Alright.
statement we're making is the fact that we will do.
Can y'all hear the
We
video?
will do exactly.
Oh, okay.
Goddamn,
Vortex
Team
Strike
Ground
Eagle.
branch for real.
Is that a Vortex Strike Eagle? I
Wait,
think it
wait,
is.
wait, wait. Guys, no, look at his helmet strap.
Dear
The front
Christ.
is disconnected.
No, it's not. No, it's
Front is
not.
Disconnected.
No.
Is it
It's
not?
YouTube compression. It's YouTube
Okay, good.
compression. But also
that's
another
right.
hard-headed veteran's helmet, so I might as well just be completely. He might as well just not wear it.
Unclipped though. I can tell that for sure.
Hey, at least
Yeah,
he's
it
got
is
plates in though,
unclipped.
dude. Look, he's even got side plates.
He does.
Yeah.
Actually,
Wow.
hold on.
Goddamn
What rig
meal.
is this? Those are soft side. Those are soft side plates, I think. See how they wrap around his body?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the 3A soft armor.
What weapon is that? What rail system is that? That
I
almost
couldn't
looks
tell
like
you
an
personally.
older He's got a Radiant Raptor. He's got a Vortex Strike. Are those canted iron sights?
Probably.
Yes,
They
are.
are.
Correct.
He has canted
Oh,
Imbus
God.
sights.
He has no foregrip.
Oh my
He's holding it from the mag. Well, he's
Also-
got some kind of aftermarket trigger group.
Look at how thick his gloves are, and he has a stock trigger guard.
Yep.
Homie's fingers are gonna get stuck in there.
Single,
Oh,
the
and he's
single
got a
point
bungee sling.
The
We saw it
single
at the
point
same time.
swing. Hell yeah.
Mike Dunn, you got to get your guys squared away and stop. Hey, first of all, stop being a fed.
No, guys, simmer down. The only downside to a mono sling like that is it hits your nuts, and clearly these guys all left theirs in Ukraine.
Dude,
No.
depending on if any of the guys
Look.
Mike still. Oh, there he is again. Look at him. Wait,
News
what,
Vault.
what optic mount is that?
I don't know the optic mount. It might be a Geisley because I had a similar setup for my first run, and I think it's a primary arms red dot.
I mean, primary arms is an acceptable red dot.
Yeah, it is, and I think
The
it's a
jazz
Geisley
Brent
mount.
sling. Oh my god.
Also, are those lightning? Is that lightning or is that like a river, like a map on his arm?
The sling?
No,
No,
on
it's
his
jazz
arm.
print, dude.
No, on
Oh,
his
I don't
arm.
Tattoo.
Yeah,
It's definitely
yeah, his tattoo. I probably should have
lightning.
said that. It's like lightning with Ukrainian scribbled in it.
Hey, Woodland guy to the right looks like he has a
that's
arrow
not-
belt too.
Has no negative connotation.
No, that's
at
not
all.
a Pharaoh belt. That's a. I'm pretty sure that's a GBRS belt.
Oh, gross!
Yeah.
Just as.
I mean, honestly, the GBRS belts aren't bad.
I talked to some of the guys that were running them.
But
They
they're
still
made
didn't like
by
the setup.
bootlickers.
Yeah, I was going to say that he said it's no different than his Ronin belt. Is what he came to find out. So he was going to try out what was it? The Haley Strategic one was on the way. I was talking to him about. He said the D3 looks pretty good, and he's also gotten to try the Pharaoh one. He liked the Pharaoh one for how light it was, but he didn't like the plastic rigidity and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Bison is still my go-to. Yeah, he's got a Blue Force gear, micro trauma. Also, his flat pack. I think that's a Haley Strategic with their piggyback system. Because
It might
see, it's not mollied on. He's got the straps running down his hit through his shoulder and cummerbund. So that's actually a pretty nice setup kit as far as his plate carrier goes.
Well, I mean, we knew people who ran with the Boogs that were smart fucking dudes. We stopped doing stuff with them because some of the guys either were accelerationists or it was because we started to interfight because of, well, he's on frame.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Mike Dunn was like the double taco, triple taco. He's got a double taco with a pistol on the outside. That's actually kind of thick setup. I'm not sure if I can
It's probably
endorse or
G-code.
support that. No, it's not. It's actually HSGI.
Oh, okay.
I run the G-code ones, but like, see if you on his, it's a double HSGI taco with a pistol on the outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mike Dunn, I'll give you a quick backstory, then we'll keep flipping through this video very quickly. We can only make fun of a couple people for so long. He was like I think most people see him as like the self-proclaimed leader or whatever of the Boogaloo movement, which kind of started in like 2018, 2019. He was like I don't know his exact. I have read through his paperwork. We did have it pulled due to some other personal issues and reasons that I'll get into in just a minute. But he was in the Marine Corps for a couple of years. He I won't.
He's a clown.
He's basically a clown. He got out of the Marine Corps and then decided he wanted to basically start a militia and train people to stop tyranny, which in and of itself is not a bad thing by any means. It's the way he has handled certain situations. He's continually is involved in things that just don't make sense. Things don't add up. He kind of started like the Boogaloo, quote unquote, started the Boogaloo movement. He was like the self-proclaimed leader. That whole movement had its own structure per state, per county, whatever. And he was like, he saw himself as like the hierarchy, and he was like the public face at minimum. And he just continually got involved in some very strange, odd things. He got into some personal disputes, that were not handled correctly. He, poorly handled them. He put some people on blast. He associated himself with some very interesting, not great people. Some very suspicious, very strange people that also just kind of made poor decisions. The Boogaloo movement in kind of its peak actually ended up disowning him as publicly as they could, while him still being the public face. But internally, he was barred from nearly every chat, anything, and they didn't want anything to do with him due to just he was making the Boogaloo movement look much worse than it already appeared and seemed.
Yeah, I think I remember that happened too, because I think me and Sean both looked at each other and we were like, "We fucking called it!" Like,
yeah, like I mean, he
Dude,
got
wouldn't-
banned by hundreds of groups, very quickly.
He wouldn't stop getting in front of a camera and running his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Well, it was also other stuff like the incident that I think Jamie will touch on, where he allegedly confessed to being an informant and then took off randomly in a car while still under the effects of alcohol or something.
Yeah, there were still some very interesting things like that. I didn't know what to think as far as what to believe, and I mean, a lot of us had screenshots, and a lot of it, could be taken out of context. But needless to say, he was a very suspicious person. And then he, along with some others, Henry. One of their names was Henry. It was Mike Dunn, Henry, and some other people. Ended up going to Ukraine very early in the war. With this very I don't want to. I feel like I can be a somewhat judge of character after spending time together, and talking with him later on. But it was just kind of publicly he made this like blanket statement of, I'm just going to help people because I care about other people and I want to fight for their freedom, which I mean is essentially you could argue. I mean, I've talked about it in the first and second episode, which is why I went over there. I mean, a lot of people say that, but the evidence of his actions going over there did not show that. The people he associated himself with did not show that. He ended up leaving Ukraine after claiming he had all these combat missions and did all this evacuation, drove a van, just a whole bunch of stuff. It started getting kind of picked apart. Yeah. He kind of has this line that he knows to toe where he'll say a bunch of stuff and it'll be vague enough to where it can't be proven wrong, but believable enough to where, people will believe him and stand by him. He started getting fact-checked by a few people, and it kind of flew under the radar. He then, we ended up reaching out to each other. I don't remember exactly how that worked. When he was trying to come back to Ukraine, he ended up bringing, I guess, full disclosure, I gave him a list of some things that we needed in Ukraine that we weren't able to get, due to just, lots of things were out of stock. We sent him money. He brought us the things. It was by no means anything, nefarious or illegal. It was literally like some helmet mounts for contacts and like a flashlight. And he literally brought me an extra pair of pants, if I remember correctly. Like just very, just a few things, for me and some of the other instructors. We kind of went out on, we took a risk by saying, hey, you can instruct with us, and we'll go into a little more detail maybe next week, or maybe we just won't touch on it next week. I'll go into the detail here, but we ended up training with him for a few days, and as a team, we collectively decided this isn't going to work out. It was a mix of, false advertisement on his part. Every chance he got, he was in front of a camera, whether it was making TikToks. He went by the name Armed and Dangerous on TikTok. He was neither armed nor dangerous when he was making those videos. The only person he was a danger to were, people trying to do the right thing. But yeah, any chance he got, he would be in front of a camera talking about the Boogaloo and how he was, there's actually a German news article written about us training that he completely hijacked the interview, kind of made it all seem that we were a part of the Boogaloo movement and identified, and we were trying to take our combat experience and take it back home to the U.S. so we could fight the tyranny back home.
That was fucking true.
God.
Yeah, just an absolute bunch of garbage. There was an incident where he brought prop money, was trying to bring prop money into Ukraine for clout or to scam people, or who really knows. It got seized by the FA by customs, trying to leave the U.S. This is all one of the people on the team, on the instructor team, that he'd also had contact with, when in his first trip in Ukraine. It's kind of a small world when you're a foreigner in Ukraine. And he'd previously met one of the other guys. He just decided to name drop that individual. And when that individual tried to go back to the U.S., they said, hey, I mean, a lot of this is written down, or pictures and text, screenshots, stuff like that. They were literally approached by customs and border patrol, or border agency, were like, hey, so we heard Mike Dunn was bringing you a fake counterfeit prop money. And he's like, yeah, no, that never, yeah, he was trying to bring it, like he told us after the fact, you guys seized it, he name-dropped me, that was never the case. It turned into this whole ordeal. The dude is an absolute con. The dude glows like a Fed. He's a liar. A lot of his stories can be picked apart if you know who to ask. I'm not trying to go on some, I don't know necessarily what I'm trying to do, but you shouldn't be giving this guy money for donations or virtually anything.
Don't say anything to him because he's a cop, and you don't say anything to cops.
Yeah, don't speak to cops without a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, that just he comes back. He's been on like battles and beers and battles and beer, on their Instagram, like showing his Ukraine war footage, things like that. And I saw him try to record, training and war footage and edit it in his favor, making it look like it was combat footage and things like that. I don't trust a word he says. I feel like I gave him a try, asking him or discussing, I mean, I didn't necessarily ask him, but, we gave him a chance to train with us and, instruct Ukrainians, and just, I feel like we were continually let down by his attitude. We felt like his reasons for being in Ukraine were disingenuous. And we asked him to no longer be a part of our team instructing, and his actions continued to show that while the more time he spent in Ukraine. There were foreign Ukrainian veterans, there were foreign volunteer veterans that have been fighting there for years that questioned him on some of the stuff he said he took a part of, and he could never give clear, straight answers or give accurate names. From my understanding, even Azov blacklisted him. That's my understanding. I don't have confirmation of that. And it's bad when Azov blacklists you from recruitment. So, yeah, that's my spiel. Don't talk to cops without a lawyer present, and don't make friends with people you don't know who they are. Just because the message... So, just for reference, they're protesting at this school because allegedly a community member had a concealed carry weapon on him at a school board meeting, which it's illegal to have a weapon on school grounds, no matter when or where students are present or whatever. And he was arrested for it. I don't necessarily know how they found it. I don't know all the details, but that's why they're protesting at the school. So just because, the intention or motive might sound wholesome or something, anything to do or anything with Mike Dunn's name on it, I would never touch with a 10-foot pole. So make your own decisions, I suppose. I'm sure he'll watch this. So, Mike, you shouldn't have been a scumbag, and, maybe this won't be happening. So.
And Mike, respectively, not.
Yeah, it's just too many sketchy things, too many stuff going on. I actually, I have witnesses for this. I don't believe there's actually a paper trail for receipts, so, don't ask for receipts, because I don't believe there are any on this one, other than just, the sender deleted this text message, or text on Signal. But while we were in Ukraine, he was like, just so you guys know, I can get you guys fake documents saying, like, you were on, like, a SWAT team or, like, a training team, so that way you'll have more credibility to get into a unit. And we basically all politely told him to go F himself, and then he deleted the chats. So, yep. That's the Mike Dunn story. Now we can keep making fun of him for a few more minutes. Also, the dude's, like, 4.5 feet tall, and he acts like it.
Fucking hobbit-ass looking motherfucker.
Embrace the
Goddamn,
potential
looking like a goddamn chode.
So,
What
Motherfucker
is this?
Motherfucker looks like he smells like a pack of Burger King mustard.
Oh,
Also, the guy on the left has his American flag upside down. Something tells me you lick that boot more than anybody. So,
well, hold on. So, at that far left one, the patch, I think that's the Oath Keepers patch.
a press conference, not a protest. And we
The
have
Red
a message
Cross
that
or
we
whatever
want
it
to
is?
read to y'all.
maybe
as
I don't know all
concerned
those
citizens
patches,
of-
but that center patch is an American flag upside down because the Union's on the bottom right. Which I'm not saying you shouldn't be turning your American
The
flag up.
kid that's standing
flags
behind
upside
Mike's
down.
right shoulder, dude, with how high his helmet's sitting, with
Virginia,
how goofy his glasses
all
look,
the
dude.
speaking I've ever
Getting
done,
me.
I've never written a speech. So this is
Also, what does he have on his leg? Is that a gas mask? Are they anticipating tear gas? Like, if that's gas mask, I guess that's cool. But if it's
It's
like
gotta,
some,
yeah.
Sure.
They all seem to have one,
and
so I'm
so
guessing
we
that's some
will-
kind of like
we'll
Avon unit
present
at
that to
best.
y'all.
At best,
So,
it's probably something.
Initially,
Oh,
I
no,
planned
no.
to make the speech to law
He's
enforcement,
wearing
but
a
since they're a
Condor
no-show,
plate carrier. He
we're
does
gonna
not
make it
have
to
an Avon mask.
any of that.
It's
But
not
I
any
promise you, I will
even
fight.
remotely reputable.
Was
It's not
crucified, dead, and
Avon.
buried.
I bet you it's not even a fucking
Mira.
yeah, Mira.
Now notice in this picture, this is the same guy from the guy on the left, and you
Yep.
could tell in this in the video we just looked at, his I may okay, no, I stand corrected. This American flag is
Are
right
not
side
the
up.
direct for me. Are all of
And a half.
That
Yeah,
was
it's that
me.
he's
Yeah.
there for the Crusades.
Yeah,
against
he's call sign preacher.
Your brother.
And
Crusade.
they're currently reading from the Bible. He was on the USS Arkansas, SS in 800. Nice Baofeng. Yeah, he's
Maker
sitting
of
here.
heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who is conceived by the Holy.
Yeah, they're reading from the Bible. They're wearing Christian patches. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the judge of who's a Christian and who isn't, but for my personal time spent with Mike Dunn, his morals do not align with Christian beliefs.
Oh my
So,
God, dude. Hold
his
on.
morals and
Before you even
actions-
change the frame one more time, I want you to take a moment and look at the absolute fucking unit that's beyond the red water bottle.
Dude, that's a
Carrier is
megaphone.
not going to save his life.
That's
This
a
man's gonna
megaphone,
die
by
of
the way.
diabetes before a round strikes his plate carrier. They're like, this man.
Yo,
Cardio is his worst enemy.
Only covers a third of his fucking torso.
A gut shot is not going to be favorable in this man's.
Holy fuck! I desperately need to know what the front looks like.
Also, can we also take a moment and talk about the dude on the left cummerbund? Did he just like take a piece of 550 cord and tie it to the two plate carriers? Because I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. It's weighed down too much too. That is not going to keep to his body when he gets in the shit.
Born of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
Like they're
Suffered
having like a
Pontius
Bible
Pilate.
study in the middle of this. I don't know if he's. I'm not gonna. I don't even have the patience to watch this whole thing. I don't know if what they're doing is they're comparing it to Christianity or Jesus because they're talking about Jesus in this, or if they're trying to talk about how they're. I don't know.
Thy name, thy kingdom.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
think the
Lord
Lord's Prayer.
Jesus, protect us from these evil policemen. Is that the unit, dude? Like, is all that body fat like hanging down
Thy will be done.
when he's
on
in the
our
prone position?
trespasses.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, that's got to be him.
With
That is
a
him, dude.
fire field optic, boys. Oh
Damn.
man, we
He's even got an
the-
offset red dot. Probably same brand, or you know.
Condor with no plates.
No, that actually has plates in it. You can see the right here.
Wait,
You
hold
can
up.
see the ridges where it's
Oh, okay, yeah.
but
Okay.
it's so thin that's got to
Yeah.
be steel, and he's wearing like rosemary beads. I'm not Catholic. I don't know what these are. But it's
Rosary.
some kind of cross.
Rosemary.
As
not
we-
rosemary.
Did I say rosemary?
Yeah. He's got the gobbledygook beads, the rosemary.
Gabagoo.
Proud.
Lead us
Oh, what
not
does it
into
say?
temptation,
It says
but
violent
deliver us from
extremist
evil.
or
Proud
something.
militia, violent, the 3%ers.
Thine is
Screw the
kingdom and
3%ers.
power for us sinners now and at the
Oh
hour
Or
my
Days
God.
of Old. That's what the Red Cross was.
Oh yeah, so we're crusaders now. Going. Oh, here we go. St. Michael's protectors.
Oh my God.
Once again,
The HHV logo.
well, he has a HHV logo with an actual charging handle, a Radiant Raptor charging handle. This almost looks like a Ruger. This almost looks like an SR556.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's an SR556. With a also, what is he covering? Like, what is this sector of fire?
That is the single egress point that the poor innocent children are going to walk out of whenever they want to try to stop this God-given right of display of violence.
Like, what is this? What does he hope to like? He's laying down. All he can see,
have a bomb vest
or like
on, Jamie. You gotta understand.
He can see under the 4 cars. Like, that's his.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's probably not even loaded.
He's probably.
Oh, are these guys like sitting up with like speakers harassing them?
Do y'all have the audio?
No.
Not currently.
I can't hear anything right now.
What's he saying, Jamie?
Hold on, let me put capture.
Yeah.
I know the audience can hear it.
Probably a BB gun.
Probably a BB gun.
Probably a BB gun.
Fucking GMC. He's got the grill. He's like, dude, we'll be sitting out here all day.
Can you even shoot a gun?
Can you even shoot a gun?
Look at this guy's face too, dude. He's laughing.
I think I've seen that guy
Second
before.
Amendment, but get off of our school property with it.
Oh no, never mind.
You're wasting.
I like this guy on the right. Film the police. That's based.
You look
I've
like
seen
a bunch
that guy.
of
I
G.I.
think
Joes.
at some other protests.
Yeah, his face looks oddly familiar.
These guys, if anything, they're like.
Look like
he's
on Mule Team
Is that not the guy that we talked to in Columbia?
Hold on. Look at this. Looks like he's on Meal Team 6.
Looks like he's on Meal.
Damn.
Oh, and let it keep going.
How come y'all have a bunch
If y'all
of
aren't
vests
worrying
on?
about stuff, how come y'all have a bunch of vests
You
on?
talked all this on your YouTube video, man. Alright, how come you're walking away?
We got Clout Chaser Mike Dunn.
Dude, this guy's my hero.
Why are they praying at a tree?
You remember me, Mike Dunn? I don't have to yell this time. Remember last time in 2020 when you were up at Newport News Police Department? I had to yell because I was banned from the property. You said you was going to defend my rights and walk me onto the property. You didn't do shit. You're a shit-talking loudmouth.
Let's go.
The police.
Hey,
Let's go.
You didn't go to fucking Ukraine.
I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He's pretty based.
No,
I'm a fan.
Wait. No. Look at this. The guy in the truck's arguing that he's like backing the cops. Look at this.
You're a shit-talking loudmouth.
Because you're a
motherfucker.
loud-talking dumpy shit.
Fuck you and
whatever,
fuck the
profanity, you in the fucking
Listen to the guy in the truck.
Garbage ass motherfucker.
He's like, hey, don't
you
fucking
didn't go to
police.
fucking Ukraine.
It doesn't come up in the closed caption. He goes, hey, man, don't say F the police.
No, he's about to. He says, don't
Fuck the police.
fuck the police.
No, they're not. No police.
No, they're not. No, they're good. All cops are bad.
All cops are baskets.
Oh, cops are fast.
Well,
ACAB.
That dude on me tomorrow.
all cops
All
are bad.
cops.
Oh my god, and now these guys are at this.
I'll just speak.
Why are they not doing it? Where's your
Where
cops?
are they here? Get him off the school property.
Where's your cops doing something?
He's like, if your police are so mighty and holy, why aren't they showing up right now to a bunch of guns outside of a kindergarten? Dude?
Now they're all just arguing to
They're
each
so great. Yet again,
This is great. This
Mike
is
Dunn gets
real
to break the wall.
shit, dude.
And
This
then-
is
and then the
great.
people that
I would have been
lick
sitting
the
back
boots
just
and
eating
back the blue,
popcorn.
They tell somebody else.
This is a better political discourse than ever happens in Congress.
Oh, no. Wait. This chick
This is
just
just a
confirms. No. This chick just confirms Mike Dunn is a Fed. Listen to this.
To break the wall.
It gets to break.
Mike Dunn gets to break the wall. Call him.
You call them.
You
You're the one
call
that
him. You
loves them.
say they're so great.
You love
She goes, you call them. You say they're so great about the cops.
You call him. You say they're so great. Yet again, Mike Dunn gets to
And
break
Mike
the
Dunn
wall.
gets to
And
break
then
the
the
law.
people that
And
lick the boots
then
and back the blue, they tell somebody else to
people,
call them.
then
Once
if they
upon
tell
a
somebody
hero.
else to
Oh,
call them.
and then the hold on. Yet again, Mike Dunn gets to break the law, and
then the people that lick the boots
and then the
back
people
blue,
that claim they
tell
back
somebody
the
else to call
blue
them. Once you call your heroes,
tell someone else to call them. Why don't you call your
Why is
heroes?
he breaking the wall? Why is he allowed to break the wall?
Yeah, so confirmed. Mike Dunn continues to break the law, and cops don't stop him. Glow Fed.
Oh yeah. I can guarantee you it doesn't matter what state you're in. You could be in a completely free state. If you're on the lawn of a kindergarten with a bunch of fucking kid on, they're gonna show up. But if they don't, that should scream right away that someone else has at least given them a heads up, like, hey, you got a couple of like potentially paid retards gonna be at the kindergarten. Don't worry about it.
This is the face where he says, I enjoy the Second Amendment. And then he goes on to say, don't say F the police, I back the blue. This is the face of statism in America right here. It's like having the, like, don't tread on me and thin blue line sticker on your truck at the same time.
The Gadsden flag.
I was there. He was shotgun showing a $20 bill at my feet.
This is great, dude. I highly recommend.
What's the purpose?
He just starts reading the Bible to her.
From thence he shall come to judge the quick and the dead. I believe in the Holy Ghost, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen.
But
let me tell you, I carry a gun 99% of my life, but today I decided that this is the only weapon I was going to carry, and I think that it's going to be more effective than any gun I've ever carried. And so far, I think I'm right.
True.
And I hope that my Lord,
as a Christian, this hurts to watch.
These are those people like you see on TikTok that will rent out an Airbnb and they go to the like praise God and there's like 20 of them in one room.
But you need an AR.
I really want to.
Yeah, I recommend our audience go watch these.
We will continue to do it.
Oh, and now Mike Dunn has a massive cross on his arm. Like, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna change up a bit, and I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus, and I have never seen Mike Dunn have any Christian values. I'm not gonna be the judge of his heart, but I haven't seen that in the past. I guess there's a chance he could have had some kind of heart change. But that tattoo on his arm,
judge his character.
Yeah, that tattoo on his arm of a giant cross that just doesn't fit well with me.
Jamie, can you hear me?
Oh, wait. Wait, are you in Discord? What's up, Elon?
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Pretty religious when we were up north, when we all had to strip naked.
Well, yeah, so fun fact, Ukrainian, what's up, dude? I didn't know you were in here. I'm sorry. Well, guys, this is Elon. He was our guest speaker last week. Our last episode. So, the Ukrainians invite us. We were going to get into this next episode, but the Ukrainians invite us to like a banya, which is like a sauna, and it's like kind of tradition. You do it naked or whatever. So we're just sitting there, and the dude's like, I can't do this. I can't strip down. And like, I mean, it's not gay if you don't make it gay, right? And so we're like, he's like, I can't do this. And the Ukrainians are like, no, it's tradition. Like, this is our culture. And he's like, no, my religion forbids it. I can't let other men see me naked. And, yeah. The dude definitely has a small dick and won't show anyone. He's very self-conscious.
He's probably gay. People that are that self-conscious are usually gay.
He's that aggressive gay that like doesn't ever want to admit anything close to him being gay, and up into like anybody that makes a gay joke, he gets very uncomfortable. But then like everybody else in the room is literally not gay, but can make like gay jokes to each other and laugh about it, and they're the one that gets all butthurt about it.
The fact that the sheriff's office didn't show up and attempt to perform an arrest.
Oh, here you go. Hold on. Mike Dunn confirms he's a Fed.
All right. I don't own anything.
I'll take your word for it, Mike.
I think that the fact that the sheriff's office didn't show up and attempt to
I think that the sheriff's office didn't show up and attempt to perform any arrest. This is a success. No, it's just because you're a Fed.
Yeah.
All right, we're done watching this clown.
Because they told them not to.
I've got a bail, dude.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think honestly, sorry, my camera's down. Honestly, I think that does it. Anybody got anything real quick to add, or are we good? Who's got a takeaway for this week? Do we have a takeaway? I didn't think of a takeaway. All right. So all right, guys.
Hazel, do you have a takeaway?
So
No.
all right, this will do it for today's episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching. You can always count on us to start internet drama, and well, I'm sure we'll have more of it. Mike Dunn, if you're watching this, don't be a scumbag and stop being a Fed. And if you're gonna, you know, have a giant cross tattooed on your arm, start living like it. Next week we're gonna go into the second half of what training Ukrainians looks like. Traveling over the country into traveling across the country into Sumy, going right outside of Chernobyl, and training Ukrainians there. Elon left, and it'll be a good, exciting episode. We'll talk a little bit more about Mike Dunn and just him being dumb. But yeah, I think your takeaway for this week is before you trust somebody, you know, like, know their intent, know their trying to be a judge of their character before you trust somebody, and yeah, just careful who you surround yourself with, and don't talk to cops unless you have a lawyer present.
Yeah, just don't talk to Mike Dunn ever.
Yeah, never talk to Mike Dunn.
With or without a lawyer.
Yeah,
Yeah. Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Alright, guys. Well, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Sunday around 7. Bye, guys.